Yes, I think we are live now.
Okay.
All right. All right. Good evening to everyone here in Michigan. Yeah, we bring another, I won't say exciting, but a very important show in the context of all the things that have been happening in the background. Obviously, cricket is at the forefront, but sadly, there have been a lot of things that are happening related to cricket and related to the league that have probably taken more importance and more of the limelight from the things on the field, rather giving weight to things off the field. But we will, as we've always done, analyze all the situations, all the things that have been happening on the field, off the field, and give you our unbiased opinion. Hopefully, as teams and captains have noticed, we've always had the league in our hearts, and always the betterment of the league, betterment of the teams and captains. And we'd love to kind of, bring it out in the open, have an open discussion, have an open forum, and, express all opinions, whether it's one side or the other. So before we get to that, we'll obviously touch upon that as we go to those games concerning those teams. But let's start off with our regular analysis of the games that happen this weekend. I'd like to start off with Division 2. In Division 2, there were a couple of games that were really interesting. The one that I would like to start off with is Royal Challengers Detroit versus Motor City. Now, I think the reason why I've brought this game up because this was quite an unexpected win from Motor City. Royal Challengers Detroit have had a good season. They've had the upper hand in most of their games, and Motor City hasn't had a terrific season. I mean, they, even though they have been there and thereabouts, uh, they're just at the cusp of playoffs. But they've had like a mixed season. Out of the 11 games that they played, they've won six, lost five. But it was a remarkable run chase for a team looking at a tall score of 120. Coming to the game, I think Royal Challengers batting first posted a very healthy 120, courtesy of Vamsi Krishna, Raju, and Ashwath, all of them contributing with a healthy 20s and posting a very decent total of 120 runs. And obviously, as we've all seen in this game, that is more or less almost a guarantee kind of a win. But it's very seldom that you see a team give back and chase with such a high spirit. And credit should be given to the Motor City batting. They never really lost sight of the target, even towards the end. If you see the last wicket between Praveen and Dhanabal, they kept that spirit on and finished it in style, chasing that 120 runs. So, all in all, a great win for Motor City. 4 points, very well earned, and they keep their hunt for the playoffs as we come into the last week. They still require a miracle to get there, but you know I mean, I'm sorry, they probably are out. I think they are 7 points away from the sixth position. So yeah, they're more or less out. I think a win nevertheless, but probably too late for them. Next one I'm going to cover is a game that was a really close one between Phantoms and, let me go back. Let me go to that scorecard so I remember. Phantoms and SLCC Guardian. Now, this was a thriller for Phantoms, and Phantoms lately have been involved in a lot of these games on the winning side, to be fair, because they've always been able to just do enough to get that W in their column. And this was another game where, again, Phantoms batting first probably would rue the fact that they didn't play the 20 overs, 25 overs. They got bundled out in 19.2 overs. But I think this win is very important for them. If you look at the table again, they're at seventh position with 31 points and tied with Kadambas. So between them and Kadambas, really anything, and even Gujarat Warriors for that matter, anything can happen in this last week. So a very important win. As you can see, the Phantoms have been putting a decent show with the bat. In this case, too, some healthy 14s and 18s and 22 posted by their batters got them to a decent 94. Not totally unchaseable, but SLCC Guardians, I think Pradeep, Pradeep's wicket was key. I think his 44 was the lone effort. If you look at the scorecard, it's pretty storytelling. Apart from Raj, who made the 10 runs, there wasn't much support given to Pradeep. He was a lone warrior. He carried his bat all along, and if he only could have survived another couple of overs, things would have been different. SLCC would have got a comfortable win rather than losing by that paltry run. So, all in all, I would say a great win for Phantoms, a narrow win. SLCC Guardians would rue the fact that they were in that position to win it. They probably could have won it, but one run losses are always hard to digest. So, hard luck SLCC. All
Yeah,
right.
actually,
Apart from
Parthiv, SLCC has been losing quite a few games by one
Mhm,
run, 2 runs, kind of a thing. I remember earlier in the season also, there was a
mhm,
game where, it was a bump catch, but it was given out. I think the batsman was Vikram Sehgal. And,
right.
there also, they came up short by 1 run or 2 runs or something like that. So a number of close games they have lost. And the flip
Mhm.
side of it is that Phantoms have been winning a number of close games. So once again, I think it is for the team skipper to evaluate where am I going wrong. I think at one stage I had said this earlier too with regards to Guardians that they are losing more than what they should be losing with the kind of talent that they have.
Yep. Absolutely. I think it's going to be interesting. Phantoms, I think, have been a kind of a mixed season, but they are always like I know analysts' favorite. Everybody loves to be on the
Yeah, I
Phantoms.
mean, I think the team is managed well, and then they have Zafar Mohammed, who's a good player, and then you have Rohit Venkatesh, who's a good player, and they have quite a few guys who are more than capable of holding their own against some of the best in the league. So, uh, I again, early in the season they were shoo-in for making the playoffs, but right now I think
Yep.
they're sitting in seventh place. Correct me if I'm wrong. And they're
Yep.
looking from the outside to the inside, hoping
Correct.
for the last week. So now this one is last week becomes very crucial.
Correct. And then they are tied with Gadambas, and the difference between the 4, 5, 6, 7 is a single point. So I mean, a win in the next game, and they could see themselves even get into the top four. So, and they have a game against Master Blasters. So, in all probability, they should be winning this game, the last game as well, and
Yeah, but
guaranteeing
I think
themselves.
Kadambas have a tough game if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Yep.
So we'll see.
Yep. So everything to play for in the last week. All right. With that, those were the only two games that were close. We go into Division One, and we pick up Gladiators and Detroit Bulls. Now, this game for the neutral spectators and people who were expecting a great game would be disappointed, simply because I think it was the margin of defeat. Gladiators winning by 73 runs, and that's a huge margin in this format, because usually you find whenever Division 1 teams play, the margins are not that huge. So this was a very, very convincing win, and obviously, Viju, as a team owner, you would be very thrilled with the batting coming through the Arjun Ajbani coming back after a long hiatus amongst the runs. Hardeep amongst the runs as well. Aditya at the top, providing that start with Jawad. I think it was a very controlled innings, and peppered with a lot of lusty hits from Arjun and Hardeep towards the end, propelling Gladiators to a mammoth total against a Detroit Bulls attack, which has been, a revelation this season. They have been great with the ball, great with the bat, and to have them kind of fold out for 78 was quite disappointing. Gino alone kind of giving some respect to the scorecard, but the top order was non-existent. Mansab started the demolition at the top, and then they kept losing wickets. What's refreshing is to see Javad in amongst the wickets. He's been kind of always been the second string bowler for Glads, but him picking up wickets is definitely a huge boost for Glads, because I think if he can start doing that, that adds a lot of weight and a different dimension to the Glads unit. So, Viju, very very satisfied with this, I'm sure.
Yeah, Parthiv. I mean, I think after the debacle against Titans,
Yep.
I guess we wanted to make a statement. It's unfortunate that we had to do the statement against Bulls because I don't like beating Bulls, generally speaking. I
Mm,
like that team. So I think they play the game in the right spirit and they have some very good players on their team. But see, here's the problem, Parsip. For them, their skipper Watzel did not play. Tanmay, the league's number one batsman, did not play. When
mm,
that happens, honestly speaking, when you're going against the champ's top two, three players don't play, they usually can still hold their own. But when you're a contender and your top two, three bats players are not playing, then
yep.
that becomes a huge problem. You get my point. So
Mm,
I
yep.
honestly felt that when Bulls did not have Watzel and Tanmay in their mix, already they were on the back foot. Then on top of that, we got Arjun to play this game, and and then Hardeep went bonkers. So then Adi played well, and Jawad. We've been trying to impress upon Jawad how what we want from him. Again, the problem is Jawad is a very good player, but the problem is on Glad's uh, when everybody is available, it becomes
Mhm.
very difficult as to where you're going to go in that lineup. I mean, anybody can go anywhere.
Right.
So what we have been trying to tell Jawad is he should be ready to play at any spot. You see, I mean, because he's a player who can adjust to any spot. He has the ability to play both pace and spin. And
Mm,
so in this game, I think we made a conscious effort to push him up the order, and that reaped dividends. Again, on the bowling front, again, when everybody is available, again, the captain has a lot of luxury as to who he wants. But we always like to have Jawad bowl, but he has been going away from the basics.
mhm,
I first met him when he was a 17-year-old kid who joined MSU, and I discovered him in East Lansing, and he's been playing for us for quite some time. So during
mhm,
that time, I had told him what I expected from him in a DCL game. So by and
mhm,
large, he was holding that, but off late he has been getting away from that, and that usually means runs scored. But in this game, as you rightly said, I mean, he picked up the wickets. He definitely was the man of the match in this particular game. I don't know if Satya made him the man of the match. I'm not sure. But personally, I felt that Jawad was the man of the match in this game. He picked up the four wickets and he gave us a good start at the opening. And from there, we never looked back. Arjun, last over from Geno James. I don't think I've ever seen Geno James concede 55 runs in 5 overs.
yep.
And the last three wickets was a hat trick, Partha, but the first three balls went for three sixes. So Gino gave 19 runs in that over, but good comeback from Gino. He got the three wickets. But at the end of the day, once you put 151 on the total,
Yep.
um, when they don't have Tanmay too, I think it was going to be always a tough task. Bulls don't beat themselves, and you see that again in this game. 25 overs they batted. They made us slog
Mm.
there for 25 overs, but we couldn't get them all out. But the Bulls' mantra is pretty simple. If they should have batted first, but they didn't win the toss, so that was out of the equation. And then the other thing is that if they can put like 90 on the board, 95 on the board, they usually are a very disciplined unit that can put pressure on the other side by picking up wickets. Even in this game, very second ball, they picked up a wicket. So
Mhm.
credit the Glad's batsmen that they stayed there and got the job done. But I think they are a very good unit which can give problems if they have the right matchup. Unfortunately for Bulls, they don't match up with Glads very well. You get my point because we have the which can handle their bowling, but they can give a team like KRCC or some other team some real trouble because very disciplined bowling. They don't beat themselves. They do all the good things well. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think Hardeep and Arjun feasted in this game. If you
Mhm.
ask me, I was pleasantly surprised with Geno James's pace. I felt increased over the years. At least this year, he's been bowling at good pace. At least that's what I
Mhm.
saw when he took those hat trick. Also, um, I felt he had good pace there. And you'll find that this game there was no arguments. Nice group of blokes, no nothing. Simply they both teams came, played good cricket, and left. But I wish Bulls all the best going forward. I do think that they will create some problems for some teams depending on the matchup. I mean, if they get the right matchup, you can easily see this team go to quarterfinals and possibly semifinals. So it's only the question is which team are they matching up against?
Yep. Yeah, I think this loss definitely doesn't help with you know now getting firmly into the fourth position instead of challenging GLCC. But I think what's also something to note based on last show which we were talking about, Glads have definitely put themselves in the number one position. I think that's
Yeah,
now.
and that is the problem, Parthu. I did not want to be in the number one position. Now I'm trying to see, can we avoid the overall number one? Again, this has nothing to do with anything else other than the fact that it's a
No, I
mental
don't.
block.
No, I don't think now nobody can
No,
really
no, no,
challenge. I mean,
no.
you can
Fighters can.
see
Fighters can. Fighters
fighters.
can. I
Yes.
hope fighters win with bonus and take the overall number one, and we can win. Or it doesn't matter. Here is the thing. All I know is the next game against Legends, we are going to be trying all kinds of new things for sure. 100%. We have already said whoever wants to play can play, and just go out and just enjoy the game. It doesn't matter either way, you're locked into one or two, so it doesn't matter. I think we are locked into one in this pool, not the
Right.
overall
Actually,
number
it
one, but
doesn't
in this pool.
matter. It's overall one or two, right? It's going to be like group wise. It's going to split into the
I
group,
know.
right?
So in what I'm saying is it's the overall number one which has been losing games, Satya. That's the problem.
Ah,
Yeah.
When we played strikers, I still have this not so pleasant memories. So
Yeah. So you
I'm trying
guaranteed.
to avoid that memory. Huh?
Yeah. So you maybe not guaranteed number one overall, but I think you are guaranteed a bye week for sure.
No, yeah, yeah. Guaranteed a bye week, and I think we are guaranteed one in our pool at least. I think so. I don't
Yeah.
know. I
Yeah.
could be wrong.
In your
So
in your group, yes, you are guaranteed number one.
yeah,
But overall, I think fighters can still claim that spot.
okay.
All
Yeah,
right, let's
that's
move on. Let's move on to the next game. The next game was another thriller, Knockers versus KRCC, and somehow KRCC has developed this habit of getting those close wins in their kitty, especially towards the lower order. I mean, when they bat, it looks like the other team has the game or is in the game, but then suddenly someone comes along, and that's the one thing that teams playing KRCC have to be worried about is anybody can come and snatch the game. They have talent right down to at least 8 or 9. You can count Yogesh Mittal. You can count on him that he's not going to come and smack you around. But everybody else has the potential.
Yogi Bai can also hit sixes. I've seen Yogi Bai hit
He
sixes.
can,
So I don't know. I
but
think you're discounting him a big time. Yogi Bai, I've seen Yogi Bai hit
yes, in his
sixes.
prime
Now
days, yes.
that was a younger version. The latest version with all that punch, whether he can still hit the six is a different question. I do not know the answer, but I am sure of it. Once you are a six hitter, I think you can still hit sixes. I mean, I used to
Oh,
make
yes.
fun of Hariharan Dhanasekaran that he played, I don't know, endless cricket in DCL, and he never hit 1 6 in his life in DCL. So I still hold that against him that, you played all this cricket and you never hit a DCL six, and I've hit so many DCL sixes. So I think once you're a hitter, you can still hit it. So I think I
Yep.
think if the ball is in the right place for Yogi Bai can still send it packing.
Yep. And I think looking at this game, I think the game was lost after around about the 20th over. I think until the 20th over, knockers were in a healthy position. 20 overs, somewhere around 71 for 3 or 4, and then suddenly a flurry of wickets, and they ended up only 96. I'm pretty sure at 70 in 20 overs they would have expected to reach around 120, 110, 120. That would have made those 10, 15 runs or 20 runs would have made such a big difference to the score and the impact and the momentum which they would have carried in the bowling. That didn't happen after Giriyappa and Arun gave them a solid partnership in the middle. They just lost wickets in a heap, and Tamim, the chief destructor, taking those wickets and making sure that KRCC were not looking at 110 but more under 100, which was definitely under par to where knockers were batting first. And then it's, as I mentioned, KRCC have a very familiar story. Either they will take the game away from you. They keep playing their shots, so they have the tendency to lose wickets. But again, anybody comes in. Tamim sometimes comes at the start, sometimes comes in the middle, sometimes comes towards the lower end. And they have, likes of Munaid coming at the really low or the order and still being able to play that much freely. If you look at his score, 29 of 17 balls, 2 4s and 2 6s at 170 strike rate, considering, he came in at a very crucial juncture, uh, and no matter what, they lose wickets, but they still maintain that very high strike rate. They always are playing at 5 6 per over, so it's always a dangerous side. And but they in that there is an opening as well. I mean, they can lose wickets in a hurry as well. But so far, KRCC has have been able to pull a lot of these games playing in this manner, and this was another example of it. They chased 98 in 16 overs at a rapid pace, lost 7 wickets, but they still were able to get the game across the line.
Yeah,
Yes.
Partha, in this game, I thought the captain and vice captain of knockers, Arun and Deepak, were fabulous with the bat. 96 for 9 in 25 overs, Partha, I felt was a decent total. I thought that was a winnable total, in fact. I thought that was enough. But again, KRCC, if you ask me, at 23 for 4 in 5 overs, 4 wickets back in the pavilion, looked, in my books at least, that there could be an upset in the making. But then,
Mhm.
KRCC has one player which nobody else has. They have a guy by the name of Tamim Oni. Yeah, that's like, Argentina has Messi and nobody else has Messi. And so it's
Mhm.
like, these guys have Tamim Oni, and Oni is a complete player. Sure enough, 5 overs, 18 runs, 3 wickets, and he comes to bat and he, just anything which is bad ball goes for runs. And Deepak did all that he can. 5 overs, 14 runs, 4 wickets. You can't do anything more than that. But at the end of the day, if you look at it, Prabhu, Arun, Samita, these guys all have been bowling extremely well against other teams. But if you run into somebody like Tamim Moni or Muned, they take you apart in no time. And sure enough, all three of them were taken to the cleaners. And if you ask me, that's why these guys scored that fast. They have this KRCC as that Naheed I do not know, Parthiv, if you have seen him, but I
No,
would
I
be
haven't.
I would be hard pressed to find another DCL bowler who's faster than him. He might be the
Mm.
fastest DCL bowler this year playing, at least. That's just my opinion. I think when I observed him was when Glad's played KRCC, and he had Shan clean bowled, and Shan is a very good player. So a player of that skill to clean bowl him, and that too, by the time the bat came down, the wicket was castled, and so for me that is wicket pace. So yeah, and sure enough, in this game also he had outstanding figures. So I think KRCC their bowling is top notch.
Absolutely. I think
So
it's going to be hard
with
for
that kind
someone
of
to.
top-notch bowling for knockers to have scored that much runs, that I think that is a very impressive total by knockers. But hard luck knockers and good luck to KRCC.
Yep. So let's go on to the next. Before we go on to the next game, I was going to basically see if we can change the order a little bit. Before we go on to the Indus game, because I'm pretty sure we have some interesting things to talk about with that. Let's finish up the round of games and then we come back to it. So I'll skip that game, the Indus game, and go to Raptors versus Stars. Now, this was a great game. Not just because it was a thriller with one wicket, but because it has so much implication on the points table. It makes that points table now very precarious for Stars. Stars, remember, are currently sitting at 25, which is at the cusp of the playoff cuts. They are at sixth position. We are still awaiting the last game. They're playing Thunderbolts. That is going to be, one hell of a game because Thunderbolts are going to try their level best to try to win that game and upset the cart, as per se, and kind of just switch between Stars and Thunder's bolts is possible if they win against Stars. And we are still awaiting Thunder's decision, so we don't know how that's going to work out. But considering where we are today, this loss to Raptors is definitely not what Stars were wanting to see. And one of the things that has happened this year is Stars have had a kind of a mixed season. They started really poorly, then had a flurry of wins, and then now suddenly they find themselves at this situation where they have to win the last game. And this game, I think one of the things that I would highlight is, Ravi Teja hasn't had that impactful season which we're used to with Stars. Yes, he's had that one tall big score, his century, but apart from that, there hasn't been a lot of contribution. He's been out cheaply, and obviously he's not bowling, so his contribution is just with the bat most of the times. Sainath has been that one person that they rely on. In this case, in this game, his contribution wasn't there, and that was one of the things that actually led them to this score. If it wasn't for Sachal towards the end and his innings, and I've seen this guy, I think I mentioned it in the previous show. He's a very young guy, very decent pace, bats, bowls, and does pretty much everything. And he should be an asset that Hari should be looking after because he's definitely one guy that a lot of captains would be looking for to have him in their team because he's definitely one for keeps and for the long run, considering he has age on his side. So definitely one of the prospects for DCL to look into as years fold by. But in this game, Raptors again have been the additions of the Hitman team have been working out great. They have found that right combination at the top with Abhilash. Bota has been amongst the runs. In this case, they just did enough. I mean, that crucial 12 runs from Pradeep, I think, made that difference towards the end. So, crucial 4 points. As I reiterate, I think this is a loss that Stars would be looking at very, very closely. And now they have that destiny in their hands, really. Whether they beat Thunderbolts or don't, I think it's up to them for securing that last playoff spot. Yes,
Artiv,
please.
I have some news for Thunderbolts, which they might be elated to hear it. I'm
Hmm.
sure many of the people follow DCL Primetime, and one way or the other, they're going to find this out because this just in. I'm not going to reveal my source, but my source says Ravi Teja and Sheikh Shakar is out next week. That's what he heard.
Wow.
So if that is true, if Ravi Teja and Shakar do not play, then the next
Hmm.
game against Thunderbolts becomes anybody's game, right? Because now I think the talent level is uh, pretty even at that point of time. So if that is true, then I think Thunderbolts might be, jumping up and down, waiting for to take down Stars. And as you rightly said, the winner of that, if the Indus Thunder's decision doesn't change, which
Hmm.
I'm suspecting is not going to change because I have not heard anything from you guys that it is changing or that it is being revisited or anything like that. If that is the case, then Indus Thunders are going to remain right where they are, parked right now, and the winner
Hmm.
of this game will take that one spot. You see, out of the six spots, one of the spots will be taken by these two teams. So, 100% there is going to be a conflict of interest. If you're in the committee, if you're Vinod, well, here is the problem.
Yep.
Whatever decision you take, people are going to say, hey, there's a conflict of interest. You stand to gain if Indus is out. So this is a no-win situation for everybody. But having said that, we'll get to that. If you ask me, Parthiv, Stars were almost humiliated. It was 44 for 9, Parthiv in 15.2. I remember
Right.
seeing this and I'm thinking, my God, 44 for 9. I did not see that coming. But then Sashal Chowdhury came and put on a show and he took it all the way to 79 for 10. Now, 79 for 10, Iman Kabir had a fantastic game, 5 overs. He gave up a lot of runs, but 27 runs, but he picked up 4 wickets. But I always, in a close game, I always give the credit to the skipper. And I thought that Kiran Boinapalli did a masterful job using his bowlers. He used his bowlers very well. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been 44 for 9. Raptors, if you ask me in the chase part, what is probably going to be overlooked is the fact that they had 3 runouts. So they
Hmm.
contributed to why this game was so close. If they didn't have 3 runouts, I mean, basically, it wouldn't have been so interesting. But again, I
Hmm.
think Pradeep Anjuru, again, this is the not Botta, but Pradeep Anjuru, he was masterful in the chase. He really batted very well. I mean, it's a luxury for a captain to have him floating around where he can use him according to the circumstances. He can hold one end up. He's a calm hand, and he can hold one end up and do just what is needed for the team. And that is a captain's dream to have somebody like that. If you ask me, every Stars bowler leaked whites with the exception of Imtiaz. But with Deepak gone, Partho, I mean, we always used to say the Stars bowling
Yep.
was exceptional, but
Right.
Deepak is gone and Ravi Teja is not bowling anymore. Now the Stars bowling is not the same bowling as of yesteryears. Um, even if one of their bowlers has an off day, Stars are in trouble. And so
Hmm.
with Thunderbolts coming up, and their Thunderbolts have a guy named Santosh Reddy,
Yep.
absolute beast of a player. All right, this last week he had a fantastic game. So if he gets going, Stars can be in trouble. So I know Hari Parankusam is an experienced hand, and I think he will do everything possible to make sure that there is no upset and that he can lock the spot. But if our source is correct, then it's going to be interesting. But knowing Hari Parankusam, if he has to walk on his head from, I don't know, North Carolina to Michigan, he'll do that to get his whatever he has to get. So don't be surprised if they um, pull all the stops and get whoever they need to get to.
Yep. But apart from that, even if Thunderbolts are counting on these two guys out, I think Thunderbolts will need to play really well as well because they have had like coup- uh, a few games that they have been really good, but then they have been ordinary in a lot of other games as well. So they will need to come up with a better show and hopefully have a good day rather than an ordinary day. Something where they can go back and actually uh, look at it with pride rather than meekly folding. So I hope Thunderbolts is looking this as a challenge, and this would be something that would savor for a very long time if they are able to pull this off uh, at the last in the last week. All right, let's go on to the next game. The next game was a completely one-sided game, and credit to Dynamites who have been really awesome putting together this performances in back-to-back weeks now. Stingers versus Dynamite. Stingers, batting first, no real contributions, single digits along the way. The chief destroyer being Arun Selvaraj. What a dream spell he had. 4 overs, 5 runs, 5 wickets. I mean, it is just things that you can dream about. And if you look at the scorecard, there are 5 ducks, along the way, and something that no captain will be proud of. Obviously, Stingers have been in the topic of discussion all this while last 3 weeks. But on their looking at their on field, there's nothing much to write home about. Dynamite's destroying them this last weekend with both bat and ball. First, just folding them out for a mere 43 runs, and on top of that, rubbing salt on the wound by scoring 49 out of those in 6 overs. So the game was pretty much wrapped up uh, within that first couple of hours. It didn't even last 25 overs, like one innings of the game. It was 20 overs, 20 odd overs, and the game was done. So Dynamite's making a real sumptuous meal of Stingers. Stingers all but out of playoff for sure, and most probably, even with those 4 points, which are still under contention or under debate, are still looking for a Division Two departure. Yes,
Yeah,
Viju.
but the Stingers were a no-show on the field. The only place they have been showing up is in the committee's boardroom. But other than that, if you look at the last few games, and again, I think these things probably are correlated with
Mhm.
all the attention going to this scenario where all this, the talk of the town has been about, how unfair a decision it was, and, that the Stingers have not played sportively, and that, they have not, they've been trying to take the points and things like that. Now, everybody can say, oh, the committee gave the points. Well, wherever you want to lay the blame, but I think the game, uh, everybody, I mean, if you look at all the numerous messages you, I, and everybody have been getting, none of it has been positive towards the Stingers. Almost everybody is like, giving the Stingers all the business that they can think of for not playing a fair game. And so the problem here is, I think it comes and affects you in your game day preparation too. So
Mhm.
I think it's no accident that the last 2, 3 games have been absolutely riots. I mean, completely one-sided game. Uh, they have been taking a pounding in the court of public opinion, and it's very much a lot of negative publicity for them as a team. Must be impacting their players because their players have not been producing a good product on the field, and this was no exception. But Arun Selvaraj had dream figures, Partha. 5 overs, 5 runs, 5 wickets, or 4 overs, 5 runs, 5 wickets. Those were like Wasim Akram type of figures, Parthiv, when Wasim Akram was at his best. Now, Parthiv, let me ask you a question. If I had to take one Pakistani player and put him into the Indian team, I would take Wasim Akram. If I could only take one player, because India's problem has always been bowling. So I
Mhm.
feel that the best left-arm fast bowler in the world that I can think of is Wasim Akram. And I would probably take him and add him to the Indian team, just as much as if you ask any Pakistani, um, who would you take from the Indian team if you could take only one player? They probably would say either Tendulkar or Virat Kohli is what I'm guessing. You get my point. But this was that kind of figures from Arun Selvaraj. So 10 wicket thrashing. Norman Anwar came in. Um, 37 in 28 balls, 49 in 6.4 overs. Vijay had the whole Dynamites singing and humming beautifully. So obviously, this was a one-sided, absolutely as one-sided as it can get. But congrats to Dynamites and Stingers. Here is the problem, Parthav. Even with those 4 points or 5 points which they have taken from Indus, even with that, if you're going to be relegated, I don't know what to say. I mean, there is nothing to say. I mean, the product is simply not good enough. It's as simple as that, and there is no escaping that. That is the reality, and sometimes facing up to the reality is better than trying to being an ostrich which is hiding its head in the sand, thinking your predator is going to go away. That's not going away.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, to be honest, I think, as you rightly spotted, I think a lot of the off field drama and theatrics and a lot of this discussion does impact the team because you're not able to focus. All of this could easily have been avoided. A lot of the things could have been done or settled in a much, much easier
Partha, all you
manner.
have to do was just go and play a game. Isn't that what we are playing for? We are playing to play a game. Just go
Right.
and play and settle it on the field. And then you know what? To say, but it would have been best for everybody. You just played a game, and whoever
I
wins
would,
that,
yeah, I would go even one step forward. Basically, you lost the game playing on the field. It ends there for me. Basically, if I've lost the game on the field, I basically don't see why I would need another game to basically prove it again, unless it's something that was incomplete or abandoned or whatever the case may be. But to replay a game after it's been won, I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't think once because
no,
once
that
I
was
played.
just a way out, Partha. That was just a way out. You know what? You guys, okay, all this happened. All right, let's just do a regame and we'll give you the best empires that we can think
Yeah,
of, and the league will pick up the
yeah,
cost
that's
from
the
picking
fair.
the ground. Just go and play the game and settle it out on the field. Whoever
Right.
wins the game, that's it. End
Right.
of discussion.
Correct. I mean, knowing where we are, I think that's the fairest thing that can happen now. If I had to go back in time and retrospectively think, I think that all these things could have been easily avoided by just taking what is on the field, shaking hands, and then off the field. Once you are done with the game, you're done with the game. I mean, there's no uh, reason for whatever has happened. But anyways, again, as I said, we will come to that. But also, I want to give credit to the Dynamites team. I mean, the last 4 or 5 games, they have completely like changed the whole outlook and how I think the opposition in playoffs is going to start viewing Dynamites as a real threat, because they've in the last 4 games, remember, they have beaten some of the big teams on their way coming into the playoffs, and not only just secured their place in the playoffs, but also now are looking really threatening to any team for that matter who will play against them when they square up in the playoffs. So they beat Dynamites. I mean, they beat Detroit Titans. They also beat Detroit Bulls and yeah, they and this game again against Stingers was a superlative one-sided performance. So lately, I think Dynamites have been uh, you know getting their acts together just in time, peaking at the right time, as they say. So I'll be looking for them coming into the playoffs. So whoever they square against, it's not going to be that easy.
Yeah, that's the same thing I told Vijay too. That
Hmm.
they could again at this point. I think they're in. So the question now becomes, can they create an upset? I
Hmm.
think Vijay thinks they can, um, but let's see.
Yeah, I won't
And
bet
Par-
against them
and
definitely.
Parthiv, there have been comments coming in with regards to the point which you're talking. The lawyer comments are coming in. So I'll read out some of these
Sure.
comments. So go ahead.
All right. Next game I would like to go is we were talking about upsets, and this was an upset in the for the ages. I don't think GLCC would have expected that scoring 146, but something came out of syllabus. I mean, I think it was in the syllabus. Rahul Chenna was due. I mean, you should always worry about him when you're chasing, and especially when you're chasing a big target. Somehow, he has this knack of producing his best when the MCC Miles is looking down and out and looking at a total which is beyond expectation. Most people at the end of the first innings, seeing GLCC 146 for 6, would have written MCC Miles off. They were done and dusted for the season. And lo behold, comes Rahul Chenna and 61 or 40 balls with 6 hits over the boundary. Just basically got this innings by the collar and just pulled it out of GLCC. I mean, GLCC probably didn't know what happened to them, as Chenna just masterfully crafted this innings. Yes, he was helped by Deepak with his 30 runs, but it was a Rahul Chenna show. And it gives me reminiscence of something that he's done this before. He's done it with Glads. I still remember that innings. We've had videos. We've seen that videos where he just took that game. I think they were chasing what 190 odd, and out comes Chennai and just takes that game as well out of the blue against a strong Glads unit. And I remember there was one in between as well where he produced one such inning. So this is becoming a norm for him, and he's developing quite a reputation for himself, especially considering, like, I almost think of him like the Virat Kohli. Whenever India needs to chase and India is chasing, especially against Pakistan, I'm sure the Pakistanis would be fed up with Virat Kohli and the way he chases. Chennai is starting to develop something very similar to him as well. Whenever there's a chase, whenever there's pressure, up comes Rahul Chenna with his great batting effort and chases it as if it wasn't even a big deal. So in this game, I mean, I can't say more. I can't say enough about how this game was won by Chenna, and rightfully, I think we have voted him as the game changer of the week. But to give credit to GLCC, I think Hitesh has been in a purple patch. Another 40. I don't know what's stopping him from going from 40 to 50, but nevertheless, he's been like the Mr. Consistent for GLCC, performing with the bat yet again. Obviously, the star of their show was Gagan Singh with his 50. But again, want to specify how critical a role Hitesh has been playing with GLCC in the batting department, and how he's able to kind of produce these runs consistently in these last few games. But again, credit should be given to MCC Miles. They have given themselves a lifeline coming into the last week. So they still are in that position where they depend on other results, but still, I think nothing can take away this innings away from Rahul Chenna and MCC Miles, the way they played and humbled GLCC. Yes,
Parthiv,
we
I've
do.
called him the Rahul Rara Rakama Chenna, all right? You know that Rara Rakama song, right? Well,
Yep.
you know what? There is a club called the Rahul Chenna Murdered Victims Club. And guess who is the president of that club? It is yours truly, all right? I am the president of the Rahul Chenna Murdered Victims Club, all right? Now you might say, well, here is the interesting thing. Whenever Glad suffer a loss, I'm automatically the poster boy for that loss. Now, even though I was not even in the country when Rahul Chenna scored that century, all right? I believe it was 112, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think numbers
Yeah.
goes out of my head that easily. I thought it was 112 not out, if I'm not mistaken. So that makes me the president for life for this Rahul Chenna Murdered Victim Club. Parthiv, I've been looking for a suitable a capable vice president for a long time, Parthav. I finally got the vice president. My good friend Vamsi KK is the vice president for life because Rahul Chenna just hired him and has made him the vice president. Parthav, obviously, KK and our friend Kaushik Chapudi and the entire GLCC management, they only study a small syllabus, Parthiv. They don't study the entire syllabus. If they had studied the entire syllabus and looked at the history, they would have known that do not celebrate until Rahul Chenna is back in the pavilion. And guess what? After that 1-1-2, whenever
Right.
Glatz pays Miles, I am waiting till Chenna gets out. After Chenna gets out, then I'll say, okay, we might have the game in the bag. Until then, the game is not in the bag. You're fooling yourself and don't fool yourself. So I've told Satya very carefully, let's focus on how do we get Chenna out, all right? So when he comes in, we need to do a few things to get him out as quickly as possible. Now,
Right.
some of it is you doing your work. The other is Rahul also helping us out by getting out to whatever plan which we might have there, you see. But
Mhm.
again, I want to give a lot of credit to Hitesh. Have you noticed one thing, Parthiv? Almost
Mhm.
every game he's scoring 35, 40, 45.
40s. Yeah.
And here is the wonderful thing. He's always not out. This is why, if you remember, last game I said this, man, this is going to be a problem for us if we have to run into him. How do we get him out? Usually, I can figure out what to do to get a batsman out. In this
Mhm.
game, if you really look at it, once he gets set, it becomes very difficult to get him out. He
Yep.
reminds me, Partha, of whom? I'll tell you who he reminds me of. I don't know if you remember this guy. There was a guy by the name of Michael Bevan who played for
Oh,
Australia.
yes. Oh, yes.
Almost
Oh, yes.
always he finishes the game. He almost always had the highest batting average until the
Yes.
Kohlis of the world overtook him, Babar Azams of the world overtook him. But he had the
Mhm.
highest batting average. Guess why? Not because he scored, I don't know, he might have scored 10, 12 hundreds, but not a whole
Right.
lot of hundreds. But it is because almost always he's not out. You get my point?
Right.
He's there
Yep.
all the way to the end and he's
Mhm.
almost always not out. And I remember so many times I was like, when does this guy ever get out? That's what Hitesh reminds me. He's having a fabulous season. He,
Yep.
I mean, I know that Tanmay Zante is one and Praveen Dige is two, or probably Dige is one and Zante
DK
is
is
two.
one. DK is one.
Okay.
Still, and yeah, you're
Tanmay
right.
Zante has been missing a number of games, all right? So he missed our game. I think there were a few other games also he has been missing. I have no idea why he's missing these games. But whatever it
Okay.
is, Parthiv, if you are talking about purely batting average, I haven't
Mhm.
looked at the stats. I am very confident Hitesh is probably number one in batting average. All right.
Absolutely. Yes.
146 for six is a great total, Parthiv. Gagan had 52 in 45, but I think the real player who's playing lights out cricket for GLCC is Hitesh. All right. And is coming in the middle and just creating nightmares for the opposition. But uh, Parthiv, here is the domination of Rahul Chenna. 65 for 4 in 12.4 is when Chenna walked in. All right. And when he
Mhm.
walked in, it was 65. From 65, he takes it all the way to 149 for 6. And he had 2 4s and 6 6s. Now, here is
Yeah.
the amazing thing, Parthiv. GLCC gave only 4 extras. That means
Mm.
145 runs came off the bat. In other words, GLCC did not contribute hardly anything. They were miserly in this extras department. And yet, if you really look at it, Miles started as disastrously as you can think of. It was 3 for 1 in 2 overs. And from there, it is 149 for 6 in 24 overs. 74 runs, Parthiv, in 11
Mhm.
overs is what Chenna did the damage. You get my point? But
Yep.
I think this game also reveals one other thing. Any team playing GLCC is going to be saying that GLCC bowling has no teeth because
Right.
Glatz showed that. Well, they scored a lot of runs against Glatz, and Glatz had no problem overhauling that total.
Yep.
And now Miles has gone one step forward. and overall the bigger target. And
Correct.
in the game against Glads, I remember KK saying, "Oh, we were 20 runs short." Well, guess what? You were 20 runs more against Chennai and company, and that was not enough.
Hmm.
Clearly, the GLCC bowling is there to be taken to the cleaners. And that is the lesson which anybody going against GLCC is probably going to be licking their chops and their fingers saying that, bring it on. We can score
Correct.
at will against their bowling. And that's a serious problem going into the playoffs
Right.
because almost any of their bowlers is going for runs and going for runs big time.
Correct. And I think I mentioned that in my show as well, in the other shows as well. When we played GLCC, I felt the same thing. Even though it was very early in the season, I felt like their balance in the bowling isn't there. I think there are too many similar bowlers with not a lot of variation, same pace. There isn't a spinner in their ranks, and so it's very predictable. And once you get set to that kind of bowling, it becomes that much easier to play because you can expect what balls and where and exactly the pace. You're used to that pace playing once you're in. So I think that's definitely a problem. I think GLCC needs to somehow find maybe some rotation in the order in which they bowl, something to change a little bit. They can't really get a new bowler in this late in the season, but I think that's something they will have to play with or experiment with if there is a way they can change or shuffle the bowlers and the bowling lineup to make it interesting, because I think it becomes that much predictable. The only person who has slightly different variation is because he has that height. Hemant poses that challenge because he has that height. He bowls at a different trajectory, but apart from that, everyone is probably the same height and same action and same pace as well. So yes, that is definitely a problem for GLCC.
Yeah, but fantastic game by Chenna. The best 100 in DCL was Rahul Chenna's 112. And I think the best 50 in DCL history is going to be this 50, which he scored against GLCC. So, yeah, once again, he he comes in somewhere in the middle order and he takes over a game. But I have
Yeah.
found that whenever he goes and promotes himself, I don't know, two down, I think against Glads, he felt the necessity to promote himself to two down. It didn't
Mhm.
work out. But
Right.
whenever he has gone somewhere around four down, he's
Mhm.
able to control the game from that. And I think he has also a computer for a brain because to time that chase with such perfection, that itself is an art in itself. And you have to give the credit to the man and say that, you know what, tip our caps to him and say, too good, man. I mean, we are not able to do it, but you have a special skill in doing it. So congrats on doing it.
Yep.
I also think Parthiv, if Rahul Chenna sees Satya Vimal Velayutham in a Costco or somewhere, he's going to murder him because Satya Vilayutham lost the game to Titans last week. And if that loss hadn't happened, Chenna is sitting golden, making the playoffs. You get my point? So
Right.
I think Satya needs to look sideways, front, back, every place, anytime he goes
Every
to
year the
Costco.
same thing happens to Miles because of Glads losing something like somewhere.
Well,
So
this week I think he'll be praying to for Hawks to do some favor and see if they can upset and get the better of Titans. So
Hawks can do the upset. It's they
yep,
have the
it is
Well,
capacity.
here is the thing. Vijay Shanmugam, if he really wants to go to the number five spot, which is what he really would like to do, all right? Right now,
right.
Vijay Shanmugam is in the number six spot. If he wants to go to the number five spot, maybe he should
Oh, he's at
call.
number five right now.
He's at number five. Well, he won't remain at five if Titans
Yeah,
win. He'll
Titans.
end up at
Yep.
number six. So well, if you're at number six, he probably ends up probably playing Raptors, is what I'm guessing, based on current standings. Of course,
Right.
within 1 week, everything can change upside down. But what I'm trying to say is that if our friend Vijay Shanmugam, he spent a lot of money this year, right? So he spend a little more money, work with the Hawks. Maybe he should fly in Naresh Arakat from wherever he is in Texas or wherever he is in the country. bring him in for the game. Naresh Arakat can give a lot of trouble for Titans, but I mean, I already have Titans winning that game because I think it comes down to captaincy. I find it difficult to believe that Gaba will lose that game knowing what is on the line.
Well, funny things have happened. It definitely, I feel, in if you look at the predictions, everybody should be on the Titans side, and with all everything that they have and the talent and the history they have, they should be winning this. But we have seen, funny things happen in DCL, so you can never ever count out Hawks, and especially in Division One, it's very hard to call some of these games as well. And remember, we've talked about Hawks; they have been close to a lot of games, and they've lost. Especially, I think I remember the Glads game itself.
Oh,
They
they
were
should have
close.
won the Glads game. They should have. They had no business losing that game. They had taken 9 of our wickets, and then Jeet
Right.
comes and hits 2, 3 hits, and not only did they lose the game, they lost the bonus also. It's like that was adding insult to injury. I mean, I felt that, but for 3 balls or 4 balls, they dominated that entire game.
Yep. So yeah, so they are very capable of doing that. So Titans will have to definitely play out of the skin. So if you were, and to use your analogy, if you were worried about Satya being chased around by Chenna, I think uh, this guy should be KK, or who Kaushik should be worried about Gaba, uh, chasing them around, because I think if GLCC had not lost this game, Titans would have been through without even bowling a ball or batting against Hawks. So I think both of them need to look over their shoulders.
Yeah, but here is the
Because,
thing. Here is the thing. Our friend KK was gardening, Parthu. He didn't play the game. Whenever there is a crucial game, our friend KK is gardening. If he is gardening, well, they are
well, they
losing the
don't.
game.
Well, they don't make him bad when he's playing, so I'm sure he has a point. They make him.
Yeah,
they
well, in the
they-
Glads game, he never got to bat. He instead
right,
had to come and field because Hitesh developed some sudden emergency and had to go out. So
right,
poor KK had to end up fielding. So, I mean, you don't bat and you just come field and go. I mean,
yeah, and
Parthiv,
yeah, and
yeah,
what's
I told you, right? I mean, if there was a running race between me and KK, I'm very confident I'll beat KK in a running race. Even despite
wow.
giving, I don't know, 20 years. Parthiv, you know what? I will beat him so bad that you know what? If the goal line is there, I would be running the last 5 yards backwards, Parthiv, and I will still beat him. All right, take that,
Wow.
Parthiv. Take that.
Well, that's rubbing in. I'm sure KK is listening to the show, and if
Yeah,
this doesn't motivate.
I can 2 squats which he's listening. He'll listen. I'm going to run backwards and touch that before he can beat me.
Well, if KK, if this doesn't motivate you, I don't know what what will. But you better, we will definitely look forward to a race soon as Viju lands here in Detroit. I'm sure we are all going to schedule it and put
Parthiv,
it live.
he'll say he pulled an Achilles, or I don't know that he twisted his ankle. All kinds of excuses will come out. You watch it.
All right, so we look forward to that race. Definitely, we'll post it live when that race happens. But let's go on to the next game: FCC versus Fighters. Now, Fighters has been another team that has had a fabulous season, and we've talked about at the start. They are gunning for that overall number one spot. I mean, one team that has really stood out this season. Obviously, we expect Glads to be where they are, but Fighters have been definitely one of the success stories of this 2025 season. I mean, they have looked every bit of a team that can go all the way every week. To be honest, every week myself, I have been, not entirely on the fighters bandwagon. Until now, until a few weeks, I wasn't convinced that they had to go all the way. But every week they show one performance after another, more better, much better than the previous week. And now it feels like fighters are dominating. I mean, they got some victories at the start, but now it looks like they're dominating. And this was a dominating victory against FCC. FCC again are in that precarious situation with Thunderbolts, Indas Thunders at the bottom of Group B. I think this loss doesn't help them. They are still not out of the Division 2 relegation. Their next game will heavily depend. And I think the outcome, and this is where I think we will probably get at, is the outcome of the Thunder's verdict is going to impact FCC one way or the other. I think they definitely benefit from Indus not getting those 4 points, but that's just the way the table has shaped up. They still have it in their hands to not rely on that by winning the next game. But next game is against KRCC, which is going to be a really uphill task for them to go and beat KRCC and get those 4 or 5 points. But in this game, I think even though they started well, with Vinay and Ranjit at the top, they had a fairly good start. They were motoring along nicely at 3 for 70 in 16 hours, and then suddenly a collapse. All too familiar with what we have seen in typical games where you start losing wickets in a heap, and FCC just lost the way from being 3 for 70. They folded uh, to just a mere 88 runs, and then fighters. Anil Wali Reddy, I think he had a fabulous day, and he accumulated runs, only 2 boundaries in his 54. So he, worked himself, worked the bat, worked with the bowling, and slowly but surely got fighters to a win in 20 overs. So they got all the points, victory with the bonus point, and now fighters look every bit of topping the table. I don't think there's anything that's stopping them, unless obviously Glad's the next game is dependent on that as well. But all be all, it looks like fighters would be our number one seed going into the playoffs.
Yeah, Parthiv, I think for FCC, Ranjit played very well, 26 on 42 balls, Vinay 19 in 31, and Teju 12 in 13. And as you rightly said, nobody else showed up for. So these three guys start for FCC, but everybody else was a no-show. And
Hmm.
playing a good fighters unit, 88 was simply not enough. Again, Anil Bali Reddy, I've seen him 1 or 2 games where he has not even batted. He was sent number 10 or number 11. And so if
Mm,
you look at the depth here, I remember one scorecard, and I said, well, I thought, wasn't he like 1 down, 2 down? He's going number 10, number 11. There was one game where our friend, who's that, Ravitej Pujari went number 11. So look at the depth there. And this was the Anil Bal Reddy had an MVP kind of a performance, right? I mean, they did not need their Mr. Consistency, Suhesh Ravi. He did not
mm,
even bat in this game. And 54 not out in 74 balls, that's a masterclass, if you ask me. Sidhu himself had a great game. Sidhu, remember, he was the ex-Falcon, ex-Stars, he was Badnala's buddy. Uh,
mhm.
but again, FCC has a problem, Parthiv. Any game where Sujan is a no-show in the wickets column, as he was
Yep.
in this game, and then FCC has simply no chance in that game. This was a fighter domination from start to finish. I think going into the playoffs, they have to feel very good about their chances. They're definitely going to get a bye in the first round, the pre-quarterfinal round. They're going to be sitting and watching, but they should be. They have been playing very well all season long. And FCC, if you ask me, they have their task cut out. The next game is against KRCC, and that's
Yep.
not going to be a cupcake. And that's just to determine relegation to Division 2. So that's a tough ask, but we'll wish both teams well. That's about all I can say.
Mhm. Yep. And we'll get to, I think we will definitely touch upon this when we talk about the Thunder's game as well, because FCC, as I said, is in direct relation and impact with whatever the verdict for Thunders becomes. So we'll touch upon them as well. But let's finish off Division 1 with the last game, which is local boys against SLCC legends. Now, legends, are playing like the legends of the old. I think they have got their group back, and this was a Narne show, really. I mean, 6 wickets, folding local boys to 84. Even though I think he wasn't much supported by the rest of the bowling unit, but he probably didn't need. Harish bowled well with his 2 wickets, but with Narne picking those 6 wickets, and we look at it, they were all clean bowls, all but one. But so it looks like the pace of Narne was just too much for the local boys to handle. And the legends, another team that everybody's aware. I mean, they are a force to reckon with. And come playoffs, I'm hoping, and I'm hoping that this time around they do get past that quarterfinal, pre-quarterfinal zone, because they are too good a team to keep losing in that rounds for so many years. I think they want to get to the next round, get to the semis, get to the finals, and they are a very good team. I mean, I won't be really surprised if they win and go all the way, because they have the unit, they have the bowling and the batting. It's just a matter of making sure in the playoffs, things click. So, for Satish's sake and for the rest of the legends, I'm hoping this year, they are able to kind of break that jinx and get to that top four finish. And then from there, it's basically going to be anybody's game. But a top performance, local boys still unable to handle the Division One pressure. They will be surely going back to Division Two. They did great to come back into Division One, but probably too hot to handle Division One teams right now. They felt it. They felt the real heat here, and even though they tried, but it's going to be Division Two for local boys next year. Yes, Viju.
Arthur, it was the Narne typhoon that reduced the local boys into MLB. And MLB
Mm.
doesn't stand for Major League Baseball. It stands for missing local boys. And the local boys were missing in this game. Narne, 5 overs, two maiden, 12 runs, 6 wickets. Four of them were extras, Parthu. So basically, he just gave 8 runs in that 5 overs, if you can remove those four extras out of that. Phenomenal effort by Narne. And that's what he single-handedly sunk the local boys. Now, for local boys, Lav, Senthil, and Naren had gave some respectability to their total. But look at it. Legends top four came and they were all in double figures. Their 85 runs, they made it look like Cupcake City. It was 11.4 overs, complete domination. They didn't even wait till the break to finish off that 85 runs. Local boys, if you ask me, they might want to forget the DCL 2025 season in a hurry, because yes, they were doing great in Division 2 and won Division 2, but come to Division 1 and suddenly the level is a lot higher than they probably had bargained for. So it looks like I could be wrong, but I think the local boys are headed back to Division 2,
Yeah,
unless
there's
unless
certainly
unless there's some this thing. I think it's curtains for them, right? I mean, I could
curtain.
be wrong,
Yes.
but I didn't look at the standings closely.
No, no, they
But
are for sure. No, no, I mean, nothing can prevent them from
okay,
not going into Division Two. Yep.
okay, yeah.
They're,
Well, anyway,
they're
it was good having them in Division 1, but maybe they'll have to go back and work uh, and try to make another comeback back to Division 1. But thanks for
yep.
being in Division 1, and thanks for the good games. They are a good team. I really actually enjoyed playing them. In fact, I felt a little ashamed of Glads because we were doing chit
Mm,
chat. Those guys, they didn't say a word. And so I
mhm.
don't like it when we do chit chat. I feel if the
Right.
opposition is not saying anything, why do you want to say anything? That's just my way of doing things, but I like the local boys.
Yep. All right. Yep. Definitely. I think they've built a good reputation and name for themselves. So it's hard luck, but I'm sure they'll come back strong, and hopefully in the next Division 2 season, they again dominate that division as well. So now we come to the game which I skipped over intentionally, is the Indus Thunders and Thunderbolts game. I mean, this was a game that we all expect Thunders, and we all expect a Thunders unit to perform. I mean, this game was as one-sided as we can expect, or what we have seen. Thunderbolts 82, and then Indus Thunders 83 for the loss of no wicket. Praveen Bangera outscoring everyone, his 50, really dominating. And I think it was a statement that was made. Yes, they lost last week against Raptors, but again, I have mentioned that in my previous comments as well. I think it's the presence of them honoring the DCL league, playing as if every game matters and every game is important. Yes, they are still playing under protest. They're still hoping for the committee to act. And what has been shared. A lot of things have happened just this today. Sharing it with the viewers. A lot of messages have been going forth. Captains have been supporting uh, this verdict, or supporting the idea of a rematch as being a fair assessment. There was a poll conducted this morning, and a majority of the captains feel that that the committee needs to look at the verdict. I mean, there's no point in deliberating about who's done what. There is some things that were probably process steps missed, but there is enough to conclude that there wasn't any deliberate violation of the law. And I know we have the rule book. We want to maintain that rule book. We want to follow that rule book. But ultimately, we have the committee for a reason. And that's what I feel, is the committee is there for the interpretation of the law, interpretation of the rule, and act based on the circumstances. And that's generally how I've seen the law and judgment being used across the board in courts, and wherever there is adjudication required, that you have a panel which adjudicates based on what is in front of them, not just go by the rule book. If it's going by the rule book, everybody can just go and see what the it's not a glossary. It's not like there is a definite definition or a dictionary meaning of every single thing, and you just basically take the word. It's just a guideline to follow. So right now, I think the way we are in that situation, Indus Thunders have done the right thing of making sure that they are, winning. They are trying, even if they're not winning. They are putting in their best effort. It's great to see a lot of the Indus Thunders unit show up. In this game, I see Manoj Singh coming back. He's been uh, probably out for whatever reason, but he's come back. See him coming back. Bangera has been a feature now in the last few games. He was missing at the start of the season, but it's really a lot of it is right now. Everyone, pretty much everyone in the community, is waiting for what's going to happen. Ultimately, we are at this point in this week where something needs to happen, whether it's one way or the other. The committee needs to put some conclusion to this. And considering that the captains have urged and plead for reconsideration, they should be thinking about that rather than sticking to. There is and to be honest, Viju, there is no shame in going back and revisiting something, because I think a lot of times our egos come in between when we are asked to kind of revisit something, or look at something which may or may not have been the right thing at that point of time. But I don't think there's any shame in going back and saying, hey, you know what, we should probably think it from a different angle, looking at what's being told to us, and maybe deliberate on that. So I think that's something which I'd want the committee to see. If there is things that they should be probably looking at it from a different lens, maybe give it another think, or a walkthrough again, and really think about keeping things fair for both teams. I mean, I am not in any way A lot of teams or a lot of people feel that we are biased towards Indus Thunders, but not really. We are not in any way or
Let me
not
ask you.
discussed.
Let me ask you
Yeah.
this question: if this reverse was there, whether if it was same points were taken away
Mhm.
from who's this Stingers,
Yep.
would we have fought for them? Let me ask you
Absolutely.
this: would you
Absolutely.
fight for them?
I would fight for anyone. Doesn't have to be Stingers, but anyone, even if it's Racha Riders, who I don't know anyone of, I would fight for them. Because ultimately, as I said, once I knew the specifics of what has happened, it doesn't matter if it's Indus Thunder. Then no way am I biased towards Indus Thunders because I know them or whatever the case may be. Everyone that I've played with, I have similar things, and I will help or support in whatever the cause may be. So it's not a question of whether I'm close to a team and that's why I support it. It's just the cause that I think most captains are supporting. I don't think if there is captains who support favorites, I don't think that's the way to think. It's a cause that you support, whether it's Stingers, whether it's Racha Riders, whether it's Master Blasters, or whether it's Indus Thunders. Doesn't matter. Uh, that's what my feeling is. So I would support it either way. Doesn't matter who it's coming from.
That's my opinion too, Parthu. I mean, the thing is that it doesn't matter who the team is. I think I would
Hmm.
have fought equally hard for Stingers or for any other team because it comes down to the nitty gritty is that the game should be won on the field and not
Hmm.
some other place, and that's where I feel we're missing the point. The other thing is Parthiv, I think in this game before we go into this issue, I think I should say Thunderbolt Santosh Reddy is playing like a man amongst boys. He had a fabulous outing in this game. He's a fabulous player. Mithilesh has been consistent in his performance, but 82 for 10 is not going to get the job done. And Dinesh Bolt, fantastic. 5 overs, 10 runs, 2 wickets. Vijay was even more better. 5 overs, 15 runs, 3 wickets. And then Akhil had 3 overs, 10 runs, 3 wickets. Manoj had 4.2 overs, 10 runs, and 2 wickets. So it was a masterclass of a performance on the bowling front from those four guys. It was a 10 wicket win, and Bangera scored a 50 in 35 balls. It was a Bangera masterclass. Naresh, remember a guy named Anshuman Gaikwad? He used to play
Oh
for
yeah.
India long time back.
Yep.
Uh, People don't talk about Gaikwad because Gavaskar pretty much dominates the. He was Gavaskar's opening partner, all right, or Chetan Sharma.
Yep.
Chetan Chauhan was there. Again, people never talk so much about Chetan Chauhan because when the sun is there, people will not talk so much about the moon, you see. So
Right.
in this game, if you ask me, Naresh was like Chetan Chauhan or Anshuman Gaikwad because Bangera was on the other end and Bangera will probably take all the credit. But if you
Yeah.
ask me, Naresh had a fabulous game, 36 and 43 balls.
Yep.
Nothing to sneeze at, 10 wicket victory. So congrats to both those guys. But now let's get into
Yep.
this thing. Again, Parthiv, I think you need to fill us because even I
Hmm.
am not sure what is really going on. Because I'll be honest, my skipper or the Glad skipper has not shared anything with me. So I really don't know what is going on. So oftentimes I hear from other people more than anything else. And remind me, Parthiv, I have a note from Gopu, and I also have a note from somebody else. I would like to read those notes out in defense of Indus Thunders, whatever they have sent me. But take us through what it is, because somehow I feel you guys are waiting for the committee to act, and I feel you guys are not going anywhere. I don't think the committee is acting. I think this is where it is. People are just going to assume that everything is going to stand the same way. The only way I can think of making things happen is for the skippers. If you say how many skippers voted, you said that the poll was conducted. I mean, take us through that poll. How many
Yeah.
skippers have come out in this thing? Even I don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah, so I think this morning I had, since as I said, this issue and this topic and the discussion was initiated last week, and we all realized, and even on the show we were talking about, there wasn't enough time to kind of get things in place, ask the right questions, get the evidence out, hear the captain. So initially the poll was, how many people feel that the verdict wasn't fair, and we got about 32 captains who felt that the verdict was too harsh. And then I think, that I thought, would be something that the committee would look at, but there wasn't, much happening. There was silence. There wasn't much happening. We were promised that, the committee will, talk to the Stingers captain. That was something that was happening behind the scenes, and our hope was that maybe, if it happens in that manner, where Stingers were, pulling the complaint altogether, then, that was the best solution. Then, a rematch was something that would be on the cards, and, it'll be all solved. But we didn't hear anything back from anyone, committee or Stingers or anyone for that matter. So this morning we initiated a poll, where we wanted to
When you say,
see.
sorry, when you say
Yeah,
we initiated a poll,
I
are you
initiated a
saying
poll.
you initiated a poll? All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it didn't
So
come
I,
from
I
the committee.
wanted.
It came, it is
No,
you
no,
who is kicking
yeah.
the can up.
So
All right.
correct. So I, as a representative of strikers, as a captain or vice captain leadership in strikers, I initiated the poll. I wanted to see if the captains feel that this was a rematch was a fair verdict. But and we got the same amount of votes, 27 or 28 out of the 44 or 45 teams. Some of them obviously abstained from voting. Some of them, I mean, we didn't get anyone who rejected or was against the this fair assessment. So that's also something to be noted. There was anyone who felt like that wasn't the fair assessment. And I felt, the reason why I put that poll was because it wasn't in favor of anyone. It was just a fair assessment. Two teams should play on the ground and then decide the points. It shouldn't be given back to Indus Thunders from Stingers, because that would be, a favor to be done, a favor in favor of Indus. So let it be decided on the field. It's a fair thing, both teams, and that's what we play for. Ultimately, cricket decides the points. So let it be that way. But I think what happened over a period of time this last afternoon and morning was, the committee trying to essentially bring back the rule book, and how rule book is being followed. They've been doing their bit to follow the rule book. They pointed out the violation that was incurred. We tried to, and Dinesh tried to put in all the evidences which were collected over a period of time to show that there wasn't a violation in the first place. But I think what has happened is, during that period, the initial complaint and when the verdict or the jury was formed, there's probably not enough time spent on looking at some of these explanation and evidences and all those things. So a lot of I felt the judgment wasn't at that point of time. I feel, I'm just thinking aloud, at that point of time all the evidences were not present or not presented in that manner, which now it makes, when presented now, it feels like, Indus has a point. That 4.2 violation which we are being talking about, or what has been in that email, it feels like there is enough to say that it isn't a violation in the first place. So yes, now going back and saying, hey, there was a no violation, and let's, Indus has won the game and give it back to Indus, probably we've passed that. So in all fairness, we are all asking for a rematch, so that, this doesn't favor one team or the other. But I think what the committee hasn't yet come forward and mentioned is that they will be looking at this poll or looking at this argument being presented again, to see if there is a deliberation or a rethinking of it. I think that's something which we aren't aware of, or what we don't know. I think it's still internal matters of what the committee may or may not be having discussions. So that is something that I don't think it's in the hands of the captain. We've also put together in the KK put together that 12 points to show how each of these things are not violated, or if they are violations, then it's questionable. uh, and only two things that really stood out. One was that the committee, I mean, the captain wasn't informed. Indus failed to inform the Stingers captain, and that is questionable because the video is shown by the Indus Thunders. They recorded it, and they have that evidence. They feel they also have a verbal. They feel like they had talked verbally, but now they don't have the proof. But I think all by all, I think ultimately all these things, I'm not sure why the umpire's word is not taken, because ultimately, again, we have talked about this. It doesn't matter which captain says what. If the umpire has conclusively admitted that he knows about it and he was aware of this communication, everything else doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Dinesh says or what Alagu says, right? Because ultimately we should be going on that, and I feel that is something which isn't uh, been talked about enough. That the umpire's word, if is if it's changed, then we need to look at that. But if it's something which has remained consistent, and as Indus claims that the umpire has conclusively written to them that he knew about it, then the case is not even there. So I feel like that's the magic pill there, the umpire's word.
I
That's where
agree
we
with
are.
you. I agree with you, Partha, because ultimately the umpire's word is the only thing which should count. It should not
Right.
be Alagu's word, and it should not be Dinesh's word, because it's a case of he said, she said, right? When
Right.
when there is a murder, and you or in a case of a fight between a man and a woman, it's a case of
Mhm.
he said, she said, right? And so then the question then doesn't become what is she saying and what is he saying. What is somebody else who was observing that fight? What
Right.
do they have to say? They're an independent witness. And in this case, you say that the empire is an extension of the committee. And if it's an extension of the committee, then why are you not taking his word? And he's saying that he was aware of this player playing and he played right from the beginning. So that's where
Mhm.
I don't get what was the violation. And then remember, KK brought this up last week with regards to, hey, in the Masters tournament, Vijay
Mhm.
Shanmugam changed whatever he changed or whatever it is as per KK. Then the question then becomes, how come in one set of circumstances you have one set of rules because it is Vijay Shanmugam's team, and then this time around, it's a different decision, which is entirely opposite. So this
Right.
is where the problem is. And of course, Vijay says, well, that was just a Masters tournament. Well, I do not know if it's just a Masters tournament. Ultimately, aren't you saying it's all based on the DCL rulebook or whatever it is? So all of a sudden now the DCL rulebook. But again, I think this is probably where we are having an issue. And I honestly don't feel, Parthiv, that anything is going to happen
Mm.
because everybody is just going to sit quiet. And just sitting
But
quiet doesn't mean that justice has been served. I mean, I
Mhm.
think if you have the majority of the captains saying that, no, this is not right, settle it out on the field, that's the right way to settle things, then just go based on what the why do you think the majority of the captains feel this way? I mean, obviously we all feel that internally
Right.
that this is not the way to decide something. You decide something on the field rather than in the committee's
Right.
boardroom. And then again, the problem here is committee members themselves having conflict of interest. And this is
Mm.
why I told Jagan long time back when I spoke with him, hey Jagan, the easiest solution is have a
Mhm.
rematch, not go to jury and all these things, because again, we do not know what is the instructions given to the jury. You get my point? And I'll read this to you. This is from an Indus supporter.
Mhm.
He says that a jury was appointed and voted against Indus based on the rule book. And then he sends me a copy of the rule book. and he says, this is point number 2 and point number 3. And what his point is, well, we are in violation of point number 3 as per Alagu's complaint, but the rule book doesn't say anything about the game being awarded based on violation of point 3. It only points to point number 2 specifically.
Mhm.
Now, what he's saying is, what is point number 2? Let's understand. Point 3 is the two teams need to declare their 12 at the toss in front of the opposition captain, and once
Mhm.
declared, they cannot change it. No players
Mhm.
will be allowed to participate without being added in the playing 12. Now, what Indas is saying is, or this person is saying is that, see, okay, even if we violated that, you can't take away the points just based on that,
Mhm.
If it is a question of point number 2, that the player must be registered and signed a waiver, well, this player was already registered and had signed a waiver according to Indus. And then I don't know what happened to that merger of the profiles. And I thought KK was looking into it. And I don't
Yeah,
know what happened. We were looking for DNA evidence. And once you have DNA evidence, then the understanding is every court in the world changes a verdict based on DNA evidence. I do not know what happened to that.
yeah. I'm not sure. I think only the committee. I think cricket clubs might be sharing those logs just with the committee, because I think that data proprietary information is something that the committee may not want cricket clubs to share it with everyone and anyone, right? So if that log or that information or the data needs to be brought, it needs to be requested by the committee or initiated by maybe Indus to the committee to bring it back. I think that's how it should essentially flow. I don't think, yes, KK can help to reach the right person, but ultimately it is dependent on either the committee or the Indus Thunder's captain to get that data from and then use that data ultimately. So I'm
Well,
not sure as to
let me
if
read to you
that's.
what Gopu had to say. Gopu said, hey Viju, this is what I felt. Committee, Indus as a team, we never asked for getting the 4 points back, but to
Mhm.
decide on the result fair and square on the ground, and to request a regame between Indus and Stingers. Indus sent an email on withdrawing from the league, but respected the decision on the request received for
Mhm.
not withdrawing from the league and played the last 2 league games. After we received
Right.
the voting from the captains on reconsidering the decision on Indus versus Stingers in the captains group, then we saw the response from Alagu not agreeing to play the regame between Indus and Stingers. And we totally respect that decision also. Since we say that DCL is a captain's league and always respect what committee puts all the efforts to run the league smoothly, I would request the committee to provide a final decision on this matter and close this case. Indus
Mhm.
as a team, we wanted to compete in the league fair and square and request the committee to provide a conclusion on Indus versus Stingers game case
Mhm.
by Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.
Well,
And I think.
my feeling is knowing how the lots of conflicts of interest and things like that, I feel there is not a real big urgency within the committee to move this along, because you guys have been sitting and badgering them and nothing has been happening. Now, I'll tell you, Partho, if I was there, all right, if I was in the US and if I was the Glats captain, I'll tell you exactly what I would have done. I would have called an emergency captain's meeting, and
Mhm.
I would have brought it to a head. And I would have said, well, we are going to sit and talk this out, and we are going to, without a resolution, we are not moving forward. I feel
But
that when somebody is not responding, that's what you need to do, because at this point,
even in
the
that case,
committee is
Vijay,
also losing.
but even in that case, let's say, like, you get the captains in a room and you talk about it
Yeah,
without the
okay,
committee.
partly, there is a prior this thing for that. Remember that
Okay.
case with
No, no, I know what you're
TCA,
talking about.
TCA with
Yeah,
TCA.
yeah,
Remember, we
Right.
had an emergency meeting and then we took a decision based upon what
Correct.
transpired in that meeting.
Correct. Yep. I remember that. I mean, remember that very well. I think in this case, my point is, let's say we get we get the captains locked in a room. We decide. I think the outcome is going to be still the same. Everyone feels that the committee needs to look at it, but without the committee attending that meeting or recognizing that meeting as a way to kind of deliberate, I think that it's still going to be futile no matter what you do. I mean, this WhatsApp group is kind of a virtual meeting in itself. So we have come to a conclusion that we all feel like the 32 captains feel that yes, something the committee needs to look at. But unless the committee recognizing this as a way to say, hey, we are all in this together, there's not anything that anybody can do, even if we meet in person or we do it on virtually. That's I think what the problem is. I think we need.
Parthiv, Sandeep Gopu has requested whether he can join the show. Are you okay with
Oh,
that?
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
you might as well give him that full opportunity. At least, I think
Mhm.
DCL Primetime has been very clear right from the beginning. We want this settled on the field, and we want this done the fair way, fair to both teams. We don't want either team to be taken to the
Mhm.
cleaners. Of course, as a competitor, Indus is a competitor for us, but I want the fair thing done by the Indus team. That's at the core of this thing. That's what we want. And I remember Vijay Shanmugam wanting to join the show, and he had expressed an interest in joining the show, and we gave him the same opportunity. You know what? Here is an opportunity for you to come fair and square, because
Mhm.
I think it is his. Correct me if I'm wrong. It is his vote which has swung the thing one way or the other.
I mean, that's, I don't think we know conclusively that. I think it'd be wrong to assume that and put Vijay under the bus, because I think
No,
ultimately it's.
that's what I heard, and that's why I asked you if you heard the same thing.
Oh, I haven't heard anything, nor do I. I don't think that's an information which I feel I need to know, because ultimately, what happened? I've been part of the committee, so I can basically say whatever decision comes, it is the committee's decision. Whether who votes which way doesn't matter, because ultimately, we don't want to keep that against a committee member one way or the other. Doesn't matter. It's ultimately the committee's decision. So if
No,
this
I would have
needs.
liked I would have liked to know what's the basis. I mean, you can't just. Here is the thing, Partha. I mean, how do you fight injustice? That's my question.
It's
How
just
do you fight
persistence.
injustice?
It is basically persistence, and I think it's basically making sure that don't lose. As I mentioned last time, also, justice, sometimes justice delayed is just it doesn't mean that justice is
Justice
going to be
delay. Well,
is not.
Partha, justice delayed is often cases justice denied.
It is,
All
but
right.
I think no, I think with the way we are, I don't think one way or the other, we can do anything different from.
Then why are we playing, Parthiv? They might as well just hand over the championship to one of the committee members' teams. We don't need to
Yeah,
play. You guys can decide the championship and say nominate yourself to be the champion. Why go through this charade?
yes,
It
but I
should be.
think we need to give, as I said, some of the things happen, and there are different perspectives to it. As I said, we are showing a perspective that the committee might want to look at more closely yet again. And I think it's a matter of appeals, right? I mean, even today in the court, in the law of, there are some decisions which do not go exactly what people or public opinion looks like. But then there is a process. You appeal, you get you get a chance. I'm just hoping that the committee gives Thunders and the captains a chance again to kind of look at things again. I think that's my only hope. I
Okay. Yeah,
can't really say.
Parthiv, answer this question for me. The captains
Yes.
have voted. All right. The captain's voice is not being heard. You say
Yes.
it is a captain's league. But if
Hey,
the
Viju
captains
and
wa-
Parthiv, can you hear
can
me
you?
Yes.
okay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can hear you. We can't see you though, but we can hear you.
All
Yes.
right, 1 second. Give me 1 second.
All
I'm
right.
actually outside,
So,
but yeah.
Partha, here's the question. The question is, the captains have spoken. They have voted. They have done whatever you have asked. You sent a poll. They have voted on your poll. They have given you got the majority. If we had a vote, it would go in your favor. Despite all that, if your voice is not being heard, then what needs to happen? That's the question which I'm
I'm,
asking.
I am hoping, I was hoping, and I think we've done that in the past.
Hoping doesn't answer anything, Partha. Hoping is hoping.
No, hear me out. What I'm thinking is, because this has been something that has done happened before and precedence has been there, where whenever we've had a situation like this where, we see a lot of pushback from the captains, the committee member or the committee itself throws in the poll, and that hasn't happened. So I'm surprised that after hearing so much pushback, they haven't resorted to that this time around, because ultimately I think that's what we've done, where we've seen a lot of pushback for the committee's decision, whatever, which way or the other. I think last time it was the rain rule or something was there. My memory is very bad, so I can't.
Why, Partha, even in the TCA case, I was there at that time, right? So we put in a poll and we
Yeah,
got to this thing, and then we called all the captains. We had an
right.
extraordinary meeting, and we made
Mhm.
it a decision. If you couldn't come, you
Right,
could appoint somebody as a, what is that, a proxy and things like that. We voted, we
right,
made a decision, but it was a, we were all in it together. You get my point?
right.
And
And that's
because
that's where we,
it impacted the entire league, but
right.
somehow that
That,
is not happening in this case. And now the question then becomes, is my selfish interest, wherein I want a particular outcome
Mhm.
because it impacts my team, is that more important than the league itself? That becomes the question which needs to be answered. And this is where every committee member's vote comes into question. Hey, how did you vote and why did you vote that way? Is there a conflict of interest here?
Well, that is only an individual can answer that. I mean, it's hard to predict one way or the other of what went and what they knew about it and what they know now. If there's a change of heart, if there's a change of mind, it's up to every individual to actually assess it. And I'm hoping that there's some sort of assessment and reflection happening. Again, I'm using the word hoping because I'm using different avenues to push this and help kind of see
And
this.
Partha, I'll give it to you in writing. Whatever you are saying is not going to happen. I'll give it to you in writing. All right.
Well,
Well, that's just my
let's.
opinion. Again, we all have opinions. We'll find out
Mhm.
who is right. All right. I
Right.
mean, but I feel that no, this is going to just disappear without a trace. And I think one team would have been wronged. That's what I'm saying. But
So,
if you want to prove me right, let's hear from Gopu and hear his side, because he probably is in the thick of things. Again, I'm sitting 10,000 miles away. I'm only hearing bits and pieces from various people. That's why I'm asking you all these pointed questions.
yes.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but
Yeah, yeah. No.
I'm trying to get to the bottom of this whole thing and trying to see how
So,
we can this thing. All right, Gopul, you carry on.
Yes, please.
firstly,
Gopu.
thanks Viju, Satya, and Parthiv for letting me into the show. And really appreciate for I know it was not planned, but thanks for that. So this is my 2 cents. I think Viju already read out what I sent to him. But
Mhm.
and Parthiv, you also know I spoke to you
Yep.
earlier this evening and also last few days before. So what my 2 cents, right? I just wanted to talk about, like, I'm not an Indus player. I'm just part of the committee, right? So
Mhm.
this is what I would do. And everybody might think like, okay, since I'm part of Indus, they might think this might be a biased statement, but I
Mhm.
think if at all, right? We always say like it's a captain's league, but do we ever treat it as a captain's league? I don't think so, because always we go by the rules what or the decisions what the committee make at the end. We never, how many ever times that we, at least when I was a captain, I don't see like we got the majority of the votes from the captains to say, yeah, this is what the final decision is. it's hardly we can count it on fingers. Like, okay, these were the number of times that we did it, right? Okay, this
But
is a special situation. What I would
right.
say is, yeah, this is a special situation, and majority of the times I believe the captains go with the spirit of the game, and sometimes we do add a 12th player, and sometimes we also had a name called 12th player as well, which I did it for Indus when I captained it for the 3 years that I did, right? And specifically when we had this like not in the like in the sports quack app that we had before to the cricket clubs, I did it myself, having, and I did raise this up in the committee or in the captain's space as well. Okay, we don't have a player, really have a 12th player, so what should we do? and
Mhm.
and and the decision was, yeah, you can add any of the players and you can replace with somebody. What if I don't have a replacement, right? And I did it saying like, okay, let me add as a 12th player, like a dummy player which I can add it to the group or roster, and which I did it. So irrespective of that, when we had the cricket clubs, few teams, I mean, not specifically I'm calling the teams, but they did add somebody just to qualify for maybe the playoffs, the
Mhm.
topmost teams, I can say. And in this case, the injustice that I felt was, okay, the case was revisited like first time, twice, and the decision was went to switch stingers, right?
Mhm.
I felt like, okay, if Parthiv, I mean, I'm really thankful to Primetime, specifically to Viju, you, and KK, right? You were
Mhm.
not part of the captain's group because Sujay is the right, I mean, current captain for the strikers, right? And
Right.
you were part of the group. You requested for a poll, and if the poll was not agreed by the captains or the committee, they should have rightly rejected it right there. If it was 1 week ago, 2 weeks, few days ago, and Indus would have not requested it again, and we have withdrawn from the league right and then, right? But that was
Mhm.
not the point. The point was when we requested or withdrawn from the league and sent, and Dinesh sent that email, I think we at least got a response from one of the committee member, Jagan, saying, Dinesh, please reconsider this request and see if you can play. Which, as a ex player, which I didn't play this season, I played one match, but I felt I don't want to do this for the DCL league, right? Because I'm very much like respective to the league. At the same time, I wanted to respective to the decisions that the committee make. And
Mhm.
and the thing is, I was not very honored with the decision, whatever it was made. But at least the reason that we played Raptors game, not even Thunderbolts, Raptors game was just because the support that we received tremendously. It's not just about how we received on the prime time, but I received
Right.
specific texts. I received specific calls to myself, even though I was not part of the league. And I told Dinesh as well, because he's the captain currently. And I truly respected, like, okay, there was some kind of a justice that is going to happen for a team. It's not Indus. Tomorrow it might be Glads. Tomorrow it might be Strikers. Tomorrow it might be GLCC. Any team, right? So I
Right.
felt like we just have to talk about the justice rather than a particular team here, and that is what I felt was missing. And 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 when I speak to, I don't want to mention the committee team members because we are on the show. So, but I wanted to
Yep.
say the rule that was given, like if the opposition um doesn't have a 12, or I mean, sorry, doesn't have the player who's added to the roster, cannot play the game. I wanted to question the empires here, not even the captains, right? It
Mhm.
has to be a rule. The captains have to decide whether the opposition can play with a player not registered or added to the roster, and he can abruptly say like, okay, he cannot play, or you guys have to play with 10 to win this game, or have a decision fair and square on the game, right? If not,
Mhm.
you can just give a forfeit to the opposition. That was
Mhm.
my point earlier too when this decision was taken, because when if I am the captain, I would really wanted to talk to the committee on this. And if at all I do a mistake from the captaincy side, right? So I felt like the rule itself was like kind of misleading to me. And I don't know how the captains agreed to it. That's a different story. But I think from next year, when we have the league, I think this has to be readdressed, is the first thing. The second thing is, coming back to this, what we felt is, okay, all the things that happened, firstly, whether it was forfeited or the empire should have told, like, okay, you guys, Indus, since your profile, the team member profile is not on the list and is not added, you should have played with 10 or the 11, whatever it is. That
Right.
was not told. So in a way, Indus never violated, right? And the thing is, if if at all it was questioned before, the only thing I told, and I'm telling it in this show, right? It's not like I'm only concerning or saying like the empires were the mistake, but I'm saying Indus as a team we did a mistake from a captaincy standpoint. Is I told Dinesh, saying like, you should have at least told that in the captains group, saying that, okay, we have a profile issue. You could have posted it in the captains group right away, not trusting the verbal conversation that you had with the opposition captain or with the umpires as well. And later you could have mentioned saying, we would be sending a formal email as well to the committee saying, this is exactly what happened. If I was a captain, I would have done that. And I told exactly to them, I'm not hiding anything in this show, right? And Vijay, I'm being very transparent. I will be a very transparent every time. So I told this, but the thing is, the injustice that I we felt what Indus had was the decision of taking the points away was brutal,
Mhm.
because we played until almost the 4 hours that day, or 4.5 hours. If we wanted to do something, we could have deleted the video of the game, say like, we could have added Bangera as well in that game, right? And who could prove it out? Bangera was not part of the game. So my point is, we did
No,
not
but
delete
then
the video. And
no, but at that point of time, it's not the question of the video. If Bangera is not part of the game, the empire, you'll take the empire's word, right? So immediately the question will go to the empire, and if the empire said Bangera doesn't hasn't played the game, there ends all discussion, right? So in this particular case, why is the empire's word not being taken into account?
exactly,
Am
that's
I
my point.
am I am
So
I
so
right, Parthiv, or did I get that wrong?
No, I think you're right. I think the problem is I don't know which. I mean, the umpire's word has been like what was shared versus what is being
no,
shared
can I say
after.
something, Parthiv or
Yeah,
Viju? I think
yeah,
I
go ahead.
think the problem here is, I did speak to the committee member. I don't, as I said, I don't want to mention the name because I don't want to put them on spot. What I wanted to say is, every time we have this issue, I mean, not every time maybe, but majority of the times, what I saw is, whenever we receive a complaint, I think it's fair and square that we need to have, not have the discussions individually with the captains and umpires or the persons, but rather we need to have a common conversation of what exactly happened and listen to out what exactly was their opinion in that game, right? And I think in this game, it was, and we don't know what exactly happened. Like, I mean, I was told like, yeah, Dinesh was contacted. I was told like Alogu was contacted. I was told like the umpires were contacted, but I heard different things about it. I don't know, and I cannot say which is true. But I would definitely say, and I requested the committee like, okay, can't you just ask everybody to come in and just showcase the case? And that might be the reason, the jury or the other things that happened. But again, I have a question with jury. Like, whenever we go to jury, like, it's not like we present our case before, and rather we wanted to listen to them in the session itself from different parties, and the jury can come to a conclusion. So that is a separate story. But I know this, all of these things cannot be like readdressed, but my request to the committee, and I did speak to one of the committee members as well earlier this evening, all I'm requesting is, it's bit like, obviously it's like we don't want to talk about it again and again, and my gut feeling
Mhm.
with all these experience that I have in DCL and tons of things going on, I'm pretty sure nothing will be addressed until early next week, because that's where Indus will be done with all the job duties that they have. Because we are done with the games, but we still have 4 umpiring sessions this week. If I'm
Mhm.
not wrong, the committee won't come back. And I'm not just blaming anybody here. All I'm trying to say is the truth, which I felt I wanted to speak it out loud. That committee won't come out and they don't say anything until Monday or Tuesday,
Mhm.
or it may be Thursday or Friday, or they never even come back to this
Mhm.
decision, because Indus are done with it. They don't really care about what Indus does, right? And if they does, I'm really, really, really surprised, and I would be really, I would be really honored, to be very honest, right? And having said that, I heard one thing. This is a big statement I wanted to give, right? What if we took a decision against Stingers and Stingers is out of the league? I asked the same question to the committee member that I spoke to. What if Indus is out of the league? Then why are you not considering that? That means Indus is no mean to the DCL league? Is that what you're saying? So
Mhm.
so my question is like, why is it like so different for any team? I'm not even questioning this as part of like I'm from Indus. I'm questioning this as part of the DCL team member. Why is Indus being questioned in this aspect? Why not the other team? And all we are asking is not claiming the 4 points. All I'm asking is to why can't we have a regame? What is so difficult in having a regame? And if Alagu or Stingers is not agreeing to the regame, then the committee can say the 5 points is being given to Indus, fair and square. Because we are, and I also challenged or gave the committee member, you can pick any day of the game. We don't care. It's DCL committee who is deciding the game. They can decide the umpires too. They can play any time on the weekday too. I mean, obviously, it would be in the evenings. And if Indus regrets not to play, and I'm gonna say yes, Indus failed to do that, and I'm not
Mhm.
gonna do that because, or my team doesn't gonna do that because we agree what committee says, right? So if we do that, then obviously like Stingers have to agree. If Stingers doesn't agree, then committee have to say like, yeah, they're not agreeing, and Indus gets the points fair and square. So that is
Mhm.
my point of view, because we cannot drag this, because the reason we agreed to play Raptors game at least is, and you saw I played, obviously I didn't perform well. That's a
Mhm.
secondary thing. But I am still injured and I'm not 100%, but I stepped onto the field just to respect the league. It's
Mhm.
not even my team. I wanted to respect the league. I wanted to be part of the league. And I wanted to say DCL is really something to me.
Mhm.
And this is a statement I want to make. And I don't know if committee will hear this, will make a difference on this, but I don't care about it. But the only thing is,
Mhm.
I feel secure to say whatever I can on the prime time rather than any other shows, to be very honest. And I think people has to understand that I had my own questions when Indus won the trophy. We That's a different story, but I don't want to bring that into this topic. But I think
Mhm.
No, no, no,
people
no.
has to
Hold on,
respect
hold
the
on,
league.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. What is the question you had? Because I probably am thinking the same thing. Are we talking about the coverage?
Yes, the coverage is one thing, and
Aha.
always the guest as
Okay.
well.
See?
The guest as well,
Oh,
which is
okay. Yeah. I
What
mean,
cup?
Parthiv, now you want to know the truth? The truth is,
Mhm.
Indus has always got stepmotherly treatment. Correct me if I'm wrong, Goku.
yeah,
I,
and
I,
the
I,
guest
I
as
call,
well. Except
I'll call
except
it.
Viju, one thing I wanted to say. Sorry to interrupt, but just one thing I wanted to say before the 25th year of the league, we were lucky, to be very honest, right? Because Chandrapal was one of the guests, right? And the
Yeah.
reason is, 25th league, 25th year of the league, we were truly lucky that we won it. But if it was not Indus, it would be the same. And I'm not saying this because of this, but I had this in mind. But I mean, I spoke to different committee members earlier too. I mean, not bringing up in this topic, but when we won the 2017 or 19, I questioned it, but I never got an answer, which I felt okay, that's fine. But we just went with it, and we didn't had a coverage, and we didn't have a guest that we were like, at least we were asking like who were the guests, and we were not told. And we respect whoever is coming in and like honoring the event, but I think we just felt and that's because all of this, right? It's not because what we had today, it's not what Indus is, right? So people was feeling about all this, especially the team members, and they just outbursted just because of this one incident. They always felt like Indus was never treated the way they should be. That's what it is. And we never disrespect the committee as well, right? So okay, I mean, whoever the guest is, we totally respect that. But I think this is exactly what happened, and I'm not speaking from myself, but I'm speaking from the entirety of Indus.
Partner,
If I
here
put
is the
it that way.
question. It's a DCL final, all right? A DCL final is not any one team's birthright, right? I mean, in the sense that it is equal for both things and you have to cover it the same way. Well, as a competitor, I can say when Indus reached the finals, there was no coverage. All right, you have okay. Remember the official coverage we are talking about, not
Or you mean,
Glad's,
you mean,
no, I'm not Glad's taking video of our own. All right, we're talking about the official coverage. There was no official coverage. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gopu. I mean, this is something which I observed, and I think it was not right. I mean, I just felt that, but I was not in the committee. I was not in the thing. So I
So we
just
do
kept
one other thing, right? I wanted to
yeah.
add there. We actually and again, I don't want to mention the committee team members' name there. We volunteered to pay for that as well, but it was not allowed, and
Now,
that is where
now,
I felt
that's
very sad about it.
I too felt sad about it. I felt that what, if it was some other team, it would have been covered. Why you're saying that there is partiality being shown to Indus? In fact, I could make a case and say that it's the other way around. Indus always got the raw end of the deal. There
Yep.
was no
And
coverage. There was no commentary. There was no official coverage from DCL.
yep.
All
And
right.
which
and the only
which
coverage I got
okay.
it was for and I think in 2017, Viju yourself was like we got the audio coverage at least from
Yes,
DCL
because
radio.
yeah, because on DCL radio, I came and did the commentary there,
Exactly.
and
I really appreciate for that
I
for
interviewed
at
you
least
and I interviewed Ravi Narala and all those people. But what I'm saying is
exactly.
okay. But what I'm saying is it's a DCL final. It's your league finals. Why are you not covering it?
Exactly. And 2017 was fortunate for us in a way, like okay, like we got some great support from yourself, Jagan, and the DCL radio. But 2019 we didn't get any support, to be very honest, with against Brownstone. And that is where I had, or few of the team members were having some best moments because we wanted to capture that. We didn't had it. That's totally fine. And the other part was in the 2021, which was the 25th year of the league. We will have the coverage because it's a 25th. It's not Indus being in part of the final, right?
Mhm.
So so my point is like, I mean, or I think I'm kind of deviating maybe, but I think the struggle where Indus had earlier, and why is it tying up with this topic, was we had all the
Mm.
injustice that was happening in this league. And I truly respect the team members, even though I didn't play any, I mean, I only played one game this season. And I truly admire what the team is going through. And I wanted to, it's not about Indus going to Division 2 or Division 3, whatever that is, I don't care. But I think we have to go with respect. If we don't win it, we have to go to the other division. That's fine. But Are you saying
But
like
but let it be settled on the field. I think that's where you're
exactly
going with this
and
thing, not in the
exactly
committee. Parthiv, now remember, I told you nothing is going to happen. Gopu has also said the same thing. I'm telling you, nothing is going to happen. This is where I said, well, if I was there, I probably would have forced it
and
to an
and and
action.
and
I'm
and I
sitting
wanted to
10,000
say
miles away. Yeah, go
and I
ahead.
wanted to say one more thing on the on this show. I mean, because I don't get afraid of anybody. I don't care. The reason being, the committee that we have right now, at least I see the reason why the decision is not coming out. I might be wrong, and I'm sorry to the committee as well. Apologies for that. The reason is we have a couple of FCC team members as well into the committee, and and they have a one more game which is against KRCC, and I don't count the team who's playing against, but they have a game to play. They might win, and depending on that, if the decision is made, I truly don't agree that the decision is made only after that game. So that is my point saying, like, why can't the rest of the five committee members decide now before the Saturday? And this is again my assumption. I'm not saying like committee is doing that, right? So please don't take me wrong.
Yeah.
And if committee wants to take a decision, why can't they take before this Saturday itself? Why are they not coming up with a decision? And I
Uh,
spoke to one of the committee members saying, why can't you guys take a decision? Okay, if you're not considering to have a regame, okay, send that communication out. At least because the reason is, if we don't get a communication, we are ready to do the umpiring for the four games this weekend, but we are requesting this for the last couple of weeks. Why the decision is not coming out? That is the main question we have as Indus.
Parthiv, here is the question, Parthiv. I mean, remember I told you I would like to know what happened, because here is the thing. In a vacuum, there is so much of conversation going on, right? Now,
Mhm.
each of us is making our own assumptions, or we are getting information, may be right, may not be right. But this is why I wanted, I was asking about that Vijay Shanmugam, this thing. Because here is the problem. There is a lot of conversation which is going on. Nobody is coming out ahead in this whole thing. In this whole thing, there is numerous conversations going out. The league is being dragged through the mud, and nothing
Mhm.
good is happening out of this whole thing. And we can put an end and a stop to all this by just coming out with the truth and saying, you know what, let's just figure this out. Let's just not go through this charade kind of a thing. This is where I was going with, because nothing good is, Parthiv, I'm pretty sure nothing is going to happen.
Yeah, but I
That
think
is where,
to your
unless you guys take it into your hands and force the action, nothing is going to happen.
I
And
mean, the
I don't,
force
I
acts.
don't, and I don't see anybody having the chutzpah or the gall to do that.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I don't think anybody would go to that extent, and I don't think to that extent, a coup is required to kind of, because the committee has done, doing a good job. I mean, we all respect how the committee runs the league and all those. Yes, there has been this case where things needed to be slightly different and looked at and handled differently. But as I said in the beginning of the show, the committee has to look at this as taking the captains into consideration, because yes, the committee is formed for a reason. You don't want every single decision to be asked for 45 people of what needs to be done.
No, and we
But
haven't done that, Partha. We haven't done that. This is the
that's my
first one.
point.
This is the first one where the captains themselves. But if you're not listening to the captain's voice,
Right.
then at that point of time you have lost the confidence of the captains. The captains
Mhm.
don't have confidence that you will do the right thing.
Right. So I think this has happened before, and I remember, I don't know what was the issue, but we had actually sent out a poll when the committee had lost faith, and they had sent out a poll of whether the committee should step down. And at that time we got an overwhelming no, the committee should stay at that point. So this poll should be considered, which we have a very similar thing. If you have a unanimous captain's decision, or their opinion about how this
Partha, in all fairness, it's not a unanimous captain's decision. it's a near unanimous captain's
Yeah, I mean,
decision.
it's a
Let's
majority.
call it.
I mean, I don't think.
It's an overwhelming majority, right? So at least based on, again, I haven't seen the votes and I have no idea who voted what. I have no
Yeah,
idea even if my
and
own
I think
skipper has voted. You get my point?
right,
But I'm just
and
saying
I
that
think
based on whatever you said, I think you're
right.
saying that
So
an overwhelming majority are
so we got
supporting your.
27. Yeah, we got 27 out of 45, and that too because it was not a secret ballot. I'm pretty sure if it was a secret ballot, we would have got even more because I think some people are just abstaining from voting because of whatever reason they might have forward. So they're trying to, not get into some of
No,
these
I mean,
things publicly.
so
So
Parthiv or Viju, I mean, sorry, I didn't want to extend the show just for this topic, but I truly respect everybody's time here. But I think what I'm trying to say here is, if you're truly respecting the league, I mean, I don't. To be very honest, I'm not part of the league or season, but I can feel for the team members that they're part of and who are struggling to get an answer, right? So all I'm requesting the committee is, and earlier, which I when I spoke to one of the committee members is, please give us a final verdict of it. We are kind of like tired of this, right? And we
What answer,
cannot.
Gopu? What answer did you get?
And the answer that I got was, I just texted in the group, and I will kind of wait for the decision. That means there is the least bother of giving a decision, is what at least personally I felt. So so that's again proving the point that Indus is nothing for DCL. That's what I felt, to be very honest. And
I
why
think
would Indus?
maybe I'll correct you on that. I don't think Indus is nothing for DCL. I mean, if it was nothing for DCL, I don't think I and Partha would be talking of this.
right.
I'm not even sure if it is nothing for the committee. I think it's the easiest way out for the committee is just sit and do nothing. That's probably
No,
what is happening.
sorry. When I say nothing for DCL, I'm specifically saying for the committee at this point, with you, because you, Parthiv, Vamsi, or Venkat Vadnala, Ranjit, and Major like Mubashir and rest of the group like Jagan and all of, right. So I truly respect all of you guys, because when you guys were there, I'm not disrespecting any of the other committee members who are part of, like Azim was also part of it, like who respected the league. But what I'm trying to at least say, I felt Indus was nothing for, at least for this committee, because all I'm trying to ask is, please provide your final verdict. And we cannot go back and forth, and we don't want to waste all of our time just asking like what if, because I am being texting few people, and Dinesh is asking, and kind of like few of my team members are following up. This is not how it goes, right? I mean, we are, like, for example, we are working for a company, and we cannot go behind like different people asking for what is a final decision on approval of a budget, right? So we cannot go behind people and all of that and saying like, okay, what is the final thing? So what all we are requesting is, we have a game on Saturday, whoever is
Mhm.
playing, and I wanted to respect that, because it's not just about Indus or Stingers, it's about the other team members who might be in a situation where it must be a must win for them. And it cannot just break their, like, uh like when they go on Saturday and say like, okay, if they win as well, but Indus was a Stingers game happens on a Tuesday, right? And
Mhm.
that is dependent on that game. I don't want to have anybody into that situation, because it's not fair for the other team to have to be in that situation. If it is decided by, the reason I said Thursday 5 p.m. or whatever that time frame is that committee can provide, and this is not a decision that we've been asking just 2 days ago. This has been happening for the last 2 weeks. My request is, why can't the committee make a decision? Okay, if they wanted to say like, yeah, we already made a decision, that's fine. But why don't you just put it out so that the other team can relax a bit, and they don't want to go with the mindset like, oh, even though we win this, we still have a game that will decide whether our playoff spot is secure or not. That is what
Uh,
my intention from a league perspective.
well, can I just tell you something. I just got a text from KK, so I'm just going to read it out to you. He basically says, I want to extend to you my heartfelt gratitude for everything you have contributed over the years. Thank you for the incredible cricket you have played, the high standards that you have set, the fans that you have won over, and the unwavering ethics that you have displayed. The team you have built is a testament to your hard work and dedication, especially you, Gopu. I'll agree with that. Please know that you have the deepest support from all of us. So, not everybody feels that Indus is nothing. That's what I want you to take away from that. Now, the other thing is, sorry, I asked KK point blank because he's the one who was going to find out about the profile thing. All right, let's get to this thing. Remember, Parthiv, I keep asking this question: where are we with this? Where are we with this? And I've not
Yep.
got an answer till now. And now KK has responded that it looks like the committee has blocked the cricket club citing proprietary information.
Mhm.
And that I find deeply disturbing. Why is the committee blocking that? If it is, you would want the truth to come out, right? Why would you want to block that? Now you are
I
saying
think
it's
no, no.
proprietary.
Let
So
me
now
correct it.
Now he says Dinesh has asked the committee for this information right now.
Correct.
Okay, go ahead.
I think
Go ahead,
no, no,
Parthiv.
I was correcting. I think what the committee was of the opinion that it shouldn't be this request for data or request for log shouldn't be coming from anyone who has a profile in cricket clubs. It should be coming, and the cricket club should only honor either the committee members as an official inquiry, or in this case, Indus captain or Stingers captain. It should be initiated by them. It shouldn't be somebody like me or KK or you who have no relation to this matter initiating the retrieval of data, because ultimately it is the league's data. So it should be either the team that has privilege to use it or the committee. Now I don't know what's the right precedence of who should request it first, but I mean that's the interpretation I have. So that's why I think KK mentions that Dinesh has to request it, or Dinesh has requested, whatever the case may be.
All right. Well, I just at
But
this point, yeah, go ahead.
sorry, Viju.
No, go
No, I
ahead.
mean, so this is where the problem is, right? So I mean, so even though if Dinesh requests this week, right? So what would really happen, right? I mean, because this week, because committee doesn't have to like think too much about this. Rather, they wanted to focus on the next week because next week is where we start the playoffs. So my question is, why is it so difficult? I mean, as part of this league for so long, I never felt like the committee has so much of difficult decision to take out of this and publish it, because we had multiple other issues as well earlier, and we had a decision came out fairly pretty quickly. So my only question is, are they worrying that if Stingers would be out of the league or Indus would be out of the league, that's fine, but as a committee they have to do what they wanted to, like
No,
wanted to confirm on the
I don't think
decision.
they're fearing. I don't think they're fearing that. I think what they're fearing is if they set this precedence of going back on a decision, it basically means that now every decision that the committee takes will be questioned and argued, and polls will be taken out or support will be thrown. So I think that's their fear. But I explained them in the morning in the meeting in the messages as well that looking at the history, how many times has this happened that a captains all the captains are voting on something which is injustice or a cause. Not every decision, nobody has the time or energy or effort to actually rally behind something unless it actually means that something is done incorrectly, or maybe done in a different manner which nobody expected. So I think committee's fear of that it opens a can of worms, and now suddenly every decision is going to be challenged. I think that shouldn't be their fear. It
No,
is
I
this
agree
happens.
with it, Parthiv.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was part of the committee, I would feel the same. But only thing what I would suggest is, right. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, there is some decision that was taken out, and we had a jury involved as well. But what I would suggest is, yeah, I mean, they could set an example saying we are not going against the committee again, right? So they could set that too, right? And
Mhm.
and and that is one of the biggest things what I feel. Committee took a decision. If they go against their decision, they feel like, okay, committee did a mistake. But irrespective of anything, they could stay with one decision, or they could go with the best of the decision what they received from a captain's perspective to basically like conduct a regame, which would have more respect to the committee and the league rather than just going with whatever they felt, right? Because we are all humans, we do mistakes. It's not like if committee takes a decision, it doesn't mean like that's a final decision, because when we say it's a captain's league, we should not say that. And if we say it's not a captain's league, then why are we saying a captain's league as DCL? And let's call it as a committee league.
Mhm.
That's my argument would be.
Yep. I think, being an ex-committee member, I agree with the fact that, the committee has that, yes, they are there for making a decision. But in some cases, in these rare circumstances, you have to look at what the voice of the people is. You can't basically go on the same fact that, it's five people or seven people who decide, every decision. Yes, you are
Par-
99%, 99%
Partha,
of the time, yes.
quick question. You just now, I think Gopu just now said that there are two members from FCC. Does everybody vote or how? I mean, I know in the past that you get only one vote. Is it
Correct.
both votes people voted? Then again, there is a problem there.
See
No,
again,
I think.
Viju, that's the problem, right? I mean, earlier, I mean, when Azim was part of the committee group, he asked me like, Gopu, do you want to join? And he himself again said like, no, Gopu, you cannot join because I'm already part of the committee, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. If the rule of the committee formation itself is like two team members cannot be part of the committee, then how did this committee even form, having the FCC two members being part of it? It may be Glads, it may be Indus. I would question the same, but I think that is something we cannot argue on this topic right now. But if that's the case, then if it is 7 votes or 6 votes, that is a question. And if that is the case, who voted what? And it has to be transparent, because we always and I believe last couple of years back when we had this transparent voting, saying like
Mhm.
we wanted to have a regame for washed out games, and that is where the we had a betterment of the leagues, that we played entire 12 games, right? And I think that was one of the good things that we had within this DCL leagues, right? So now
Mhm.
again, back to going to, okay, if we have 7 people in the committee, and two of which are part of the same group, obviously
Mhm.
why would they wanted to contradict their decisions, right? Or votes.
Yeah.
And that is where my problem is. If so, we
Yeah.
don't even know who voted for what.
I think that that's supposed to be not disclosed, honestly, because that may basically makes people like committee members enemies of certain teams and certain who they vote against and vote for favor. So I think that I respect that they are not disclosing who voted for what. It is basically the verdict, whatever the majority comes. But
No,
I
you're
know for
right,
sure.
Parthiv. But my question is, out of the 7, what if 5 people voted for the opposition? And I'm just saying, like as an example, I don't want it to be disclosed. I totally agree that. But
Mhm.
what if the five team members from the committee voted for the opposition? Only 2 voted for Indus, and the 2
Mhm.
can be from FCC, 5 can be
Mhm.
from opposition, right? So
Right.
what are we trying to say from a committee perspective? But firstly, we should not even agree that. Okay, that's a different topic, but we shouldn't even agree, or we should only consider one vote in this case instead of the 7. We should say 6 votes, and the 2 votes has to be considered as one.
Correct.
So I don't
But
even
I
know
think.
what happened, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think that is why, in order to eliminate that bias, I think they went with the jury. Now that is a different topic altogether, because I think jury never has happened before, and so the selection of jury of what happened, all those things is fairly new, and only people who were there probably know the ins and outs of it. So right now, we as captains or we as outsiders don't know what was explained or what was not explained to the jury,
But
etc. So it's hard to
can
kind of
I
figure
can
out.
I add one thing here, Parthu? Sorry to I didn't mean to cut you out,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
one
Good.
thing one thing I felt was what at least I heard, right? It's I might be wrong. Is whenever we say a jury is like whoever like three or five panel that we have,
Mm-hmm.
they should come in with a mindset that they don't even know anything about the case, right? And they need to hear out from different participants. In that, in this case, it would be two different captains and the umpires, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I was told
Mm-hmm.
it was not the case. They already knew about what happened. The second case was out of the three panel from the jury, two were coming or traveling, or they just reached out and they saw like they're coming out of from the same car, which is absolutely not agreeable. And the two
Right.
captains were not aware of that these were the jury members that were decided. And I've been hearing in different areas where these jury members were agreed by the captains, which is highly untrue, at least for what I know.
Right.
Because if if you were given a choice of choosing the jury, then you need to give the choice to the captains. And second thing is, you shouldn't even like explain the case because they are the neutral, and that's why we call it as a jury. And that didn't happen. So what I'm trying to say is I don't want to repeat all of this, but I think
Mm-hmm.
if the committee really want to respect what, okay, the decision they took, if they feel was right, then just send it as right. But based on the captain's vote itself, that it itself feels like, we all know. I mean, we are all like we all talk about it, right? It's not just like we listen to the TV shows or we just listen to somebody else, right? So we always speak to the team as well, and we inquire about it. And the captain just didn't vote in for favor of one team. I think they knew about the truth, and if committee wants to respect that,
Mm-hmm.
I would say respect that. If they don't want to do that, but they want to stick with the decision, all I'm requesting from Indus is please provide a decision. And because we don't want to fight about this and waste so much of time for the committee or Indus, Stingers or DCL Primetime, Parthiv, Viju, KK or Satya or Satish Gaba and everybody, right? So that is what we are requesting for, because we don't want to drag this for next week. We wanted
Mm-hmm.
to really have a decision, and I think we truly deserve that decision. That is my final statement that I wanted to ask the committee. Please provide a decision, final verdict of this case,
Mm-hmm.
irrespective whether it's favor of Indus or not. That's fine, but please provide a decision because we deserve to get that decision.
Correct. Yep. And I think that has been made loud and clear. I don't think any of the committee members actually hear our show, but I think there is enough captains who hear our show. So I'm pretty sure everybody will be asking for that same clarification
And I also
before.
heard one thing, Parthiv. Sorry, I also heard one thing which was kind of, yeah. I can feel for the opposition, right? And looks
Mhm.
like Stingers did not feel good when something was showed. I don't know if it is prime time or DCL. I didn't listen to the DCL radio show, but looks like they felt offended in a way that they were like kind of like showcased in a way that they did everything wrong, which I felt like they should not feel like that, because we as a DCL team, irrespective of any team, because we wanted to make sure like people should not feel uncomfortable in a way to speak out, because
Right.
this is one of the shows I always feel comfortable in kind of expressing. And I told it multiple times to like Viju, yourself, and Satya or Avinash as well earlier. So we should be very comfortable in a way that we should speak about the truth rather
Yeah.
than we are hiding something. So
Correct.
I would request Stinger's team as well, Alago and team, please don't take this as an offensive way. But I think we always respect everybody in the league, and we request that at least you withdraw on this complaint, or if you can have a re-game, we would truly appreciate from an Indus perspective, because that would show the true sportsmanship for the league as well.
Correct. And I think I've mentioned that at the start of the show as well. I don't think at prime time too, neither me nor Viju nor any of the analysts have blamed Stingers or put them in a lighter light. We've always maintained that it's basically the committee who needs to look at this and come up with a fair assessment. And even the committee, I mean, I don't think we need to blame them because they are following the
Absolutely.
rule book. But I think it's just that it needs to be looked at from a lens that benefits the league and keeps the spirit of the league on. I think that's essentially what we are fighting for,
No,
is to maintain
absolutely,
that.
Parthiv.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is one of the things I told to
Yes.
the committee member I spoke to as well. Like we completely understand and we feel for the committee as well. But only thing is, yeah,
Mhm.
we are apologizing for the committee as well. It's like we are very sorry for the committee to be in this situation, but I think they
Mhm.
have to make the decision at the end. It's not the two captains, but irrespective of it, yeah, I mean, we'll just deal with whatever the decision is. But I think the
Mhm.
decision has to come out is what I told, and we truly apologize if committee felt like whatever was happening was not right and we are speaking in different shows. No, that was not the intent, that we wanted to do something different, but we just
Mhm.
wanted to say what we felt as a truth, because this is one of the channels that we can showcase our case, is what I was wanted to mention to them.
Yeah, and I think there is no shame in
Partha,
that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think, can you in good conscience say that we would have done what we did for Indus for any other team in the league?
Absolutely. I think I
That's
can.
my
Yeah.
with my honest conscience, I can say that no matter which team it was, I would have fought equally hard, because at the end of the day, for me, it's a principle thing that what
Mhm.
happens on the field needs to stay on the field, and
Right.
you see this in baseball, football, whatever it is, that what happens on the field stays on the field, and we don't take it outside of it.
Mhm.
Game results needs to be decided. A Super Bowl needs to be decided on the field,
Right.
not in the commissioner's office. That's all
Mhm.
what we have been saying right from the beginning. It had nothing to do. In fact, earlier in the show, we were very supportive of Stingers for having the courage to come into Division One. But I
Right.
think where it changed is the question of points being decided off the field. That's where the problem begins. So
Yep.
that's what all of us have been consistently against. That's where it has found a common chord, right? That all of us are, no matter which player you take, they all feel that win the game on the field rather than off the field. That's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah. But that's all
Yep.
I had. Thanks, Viju and Parthiv. I know I took a lot of time, but really, truly,
Oh, no,
truly
very good.
appreciate for for your time and allowing me to be part of the show. But this is exactly what I wanted to express. Sorry if I said something wrong to the DCL committee or Primetime or anybody in the DCL fraternity, because, and especially Stingers and DCL committee, because I didn't wanted to say anything uh, in a wrong way, but I wanted to truly express the feelings. And I'm speaking not as an Indus player, but I'm speaking as a DCL lover. And I said, like, if I wanted to continue in the league, I wanted to have the justice to be in
Right.
place. Otherwise, it doesn't give me the motivation, because Michigan has a lot of cricket to play. It's not just
Mhm.
DCL, but
Correct.
DCL is one of the best leagues that I have ever played in US, and that's why the my respect to DCL will always be there, and that's why I wanted to fight for it. And today it was Indus, my team, but tomorrow it might be some other team. So that's where I wanted to be part of the group and say, like, wanted to express my feelings, and nothing against anybody. Again, Alagu and Stingers, nothing against you guys, but please rethink about it and please take a fair decision. If you think you wanted not to have the regame, or not to take back the complaint, that's totally fine. We respect that. But committee, we respect to see if you can take a decision out of it and not dragging it to next week. That's all we are requesting for. We wanted a decision by Thursday by 5 p.m. And the only reason is, at least as an Indus group, we can stay calm and we can just don't have to worry about another week. And we can spend some more additional time with our families. So please respect that decision and see if you can come out with something. And we truly wanted to respect that
Okay,
whatever
can I
decision
ask you
that
a
comes out.
question? Like, can I ask you a question? Since you're on the show, and my job is as a talk show, ask questions, tough questions sometimes. What happens if you don't get a decision by 5 p.m. on Thursday? Now you put a deadline. I'm going to ask you the next question. That's what a good interviewer does. What happens if you don't get a decision by 5 p.m.?
Irrespective of whether we get a decision by 5 p.m. or not, it's not going to impact this week's umpiring. Indus will do the umpiring, is what
Okay.
I heard from the team. But
Okay.
the decision is mainly for the next season whether Indus will be part of the DCL or not. Because if we don't get a response by 5 p.m., I think we truly say like, I don't know if Indus is deserved to be part of the league or not. That's where the decision would be. And
Okay.
and the reason why we are asking only for 5 p.m. is because we wanted to truly respect the committee if they are listening to us and giving the decision by 5 p.m. Because they can also give like next week, but by the time Indus is already out of the season anyways. So we wanted to truly see if committee can give a decision by end of this like Thursday, so that we can continue our duties and complete it by this season and think about the next season to see if we really wanted to continue, because if it truly makes any sense for us.
So correct me if I'm, so that let me summarize it. Thursday, 5 p.m., if the decision doesn't come, it still doesn't impact your umpiring assignments. You're still going to fulfill your umpiring assignments. It only affects your next season's participation, right?
That's what I've been talking to the team. And because since I'm as I said,
Okay, now you're wiffle waffling, so I'm a little
no, no, no.
concerned now. Okay,
No, I think
I
still, I
think
think to be very honest, right, with you, since
yeah,
you asked me upfront, I wanted to say upfront. If I was
okay,
the captain, if I didn't get an answer by 5 p.m. Thursday, I
okay,
would not do the umpiring assignments. But Dinesh said like, no, I think let's do the umpiring assignments, right? So
okay,
I'm putting myself in that shoe, right? And I would say like, because I truly like kind of felt bad, and because I was the one who encouraged the team to play the Raptors irrespective of whatever happened. But in this case, the umpiring assignment is something Dinesh said, no, let's complete the season, is what he said. So which I felt very good about it. And
okay,
I was like against it because we were waiting for 2 weeks and I don't want to drag it further.
okay,
And coming to the next season is something we wanted to decide because we wanted to get respect that we deserve in this league.
okay. Uh, Fair enough, Sandeep. Thank you for coming. I mean, you have any more questions, Parthiv, for Gopu? I mean,
now I think that's basically where we stand today. I think also, you have the entire 6 months to deliberate and look into that. I'm hoping that calmer minds and things get resolved, because I agree it's a tough decision. It is a tough thing to swallow, but I would rather think from a continuity and what it means to play in this league as more important than a decision which may or may not be entirely what should have been there. So there's still time, as I said. That's what I would hope, that Indus takes time to kind of decide what to do if this decision doesn't come, because I don't know which way we are going to go, to be honest. The next 48 hours will be wait and watch kind of thing.
No, that's true, Pati. The only thing is like, see, I mean, as I never want to quit DCL, irrespective whether it's kind of very emotional for me, right? I mean, like, uh, I don't even know what to say, but I mean, I'm
I
very
know, I
emotional about
know.
I'm very emotional
Yeah,
about Indus, to be very honest, and about DCL, because when I joined Indus and when I joined Azim's team on Indus, and when I got an opportunity to the captain the team, right? So I took it to the heart. And when we are in this situation and we wanted to talk for Indus,
Yeah.
and I'm always there for the team. And the thing is, I'm pretty honest and very emotional. I cannot quit the league just because of the committee, whatever the decision they take. I wanted to challenge them, but at the same time, I wanted to get some sort of respect for the team where
Mhm.
we can continue in the league so that we can, irrespective whether we in the division one or two, we really don't mind. But only thing is,
Mhm.
I just felt like that respect was missing for us,
Quick,
and not just from, yeah, from the entire team which we've been talking about. And trust me, it was very very difficult for us to play for the last two games, because with this mindset especially, it's not easy to play on the ground.
Mhm.
great, Gopu. A quick question. How is Azim taking all of this?
I think Azim Bhai is always same with what we are thinking, because we are always constantly discussing about this topic, especially within the core group. We have about like 6 to 8 members. Like, we're always discussing about it, and everybody is on the same page. And definitely Azim, like, he's not feeling good. At the same time, as I said, we wanted to continue in the league, support the league, but at the same time he also feels like there is some sort of disrespect or injustice happening for Indus. So, and and yeah, I totally respect committee whatever they're doing. I don't blame completely, but at the same time, I think this is the time they need to come back with a decision. Whatever decision it is, I'm totally fine, but I think they have to come up with a decision. They cannot drag to next week. And that's a
Mhm.
sincere request and humble request from my side and Indus, because it's it's totally a different I don't know what to say, but yeah, it's a bit emotional for me right now.
Yeah.
And truly I appreciate, like, if committee can come back.
Mhm.
And I really wanted to thank Viju and Parthiv for
Mhm.
allowing me to be included in the show, even though it was like a last minute and I just asked you and you just allowed me to join the show. Truly appreciate for that, and sorry if I took so much time, but I just
Uh,
wanted to
uh,
express my feelings.
Again, Gopu, here is the thing. I mean, it's a primetime show where we try to get to the truth as much as possible. We try to explore every avenue. We try to give everybody a fair shot. If Alagu had asked, we'd have accommodated him too. I mean, it's as simple as that. Because at the end of the day, we are talk show hosts, and our job is to talk and talk as honestly as we can, speak our mind. That's what people hear us for. Uh, we might be right, we might be wrong, but at the end of the day, we want the league to go forward. Let's uh, let's hope for the best. But I'm
Yep.
glad that people like Parthiv and KK are standing up for their rights in the captain's group. I think that's a testament to character, because they have nothing to gain and everything to lose by standing up, and still they are still doing that. And I feel proud and privileged to know people like Parthiv and KK, because it's very easy to keep quiet, but I really don't respect people who keep quiet. I really feel that,
No,
you know what,
I
when it's
truly,
time to talk, you talk, all right? I mean, right or wrong, you talk and express your opinions, and whatever it is, you sort things out. That's how I have always approached this thing. So
no, I
today, I
truly
mean,
admire that with you. I think,
honestly, I appreciate Parthiv and KK for going out of
no,
their
I
way
wanted
and
to.
doing everything they can, because I'm not part of the captain's group. They are, and they
No,
have been.
I don't think
I'm
I
just
don't think we need to be thanked. I think it as I said, we would do that for anything and everything that needs to be just and supported. So I know Sandeep, you've thanked me before, so you don't have to do it. But I would basically, as I said, it's something that is done incorrectly or not incorrectly. That's a very powerful word, but differently. It needs to be brought up and discussed, and have a forum that basically promotes this kind of healthy discussion rather than one-way decision. Even when I was in the committee, I basically told them, let people post. I mean, there's no point in removing it unless it is something that is irrelevant, and things are being done for a reason, we're
So
provoking and
you're right,
instigating.
Parthiv. So one thing is, yeah, finally I wanted to say one thing is, yeah, Alago and Stingers, no, nothing against you guys, but this is just wanted to prove it out that we all wanted to play as a DCL league, nothing to differentiate between different teams, and also committee. I know it's not easy from your side, but I really wanted to apologize for Stingers and committee. But it's basically, I just wanted you to guys to rethink and provide a right decision. And I think I wanted to thank Parthiv KK, as Viju rightly mentioned. I did showed my respect to Parthiv and KK separately as well. But along with that, I wanted to provide one of the committee members. I don't want to mention the name because again that might be like leading to a different conversation within the committee, so I don't want to mention, but the person that I'm referring here should be aware of it, and he's aware of it. But thankful to that person as well in terms of like supporting, and I'm not just saying because this is part of like kind of an Indus kind of a situation, but I wanted this to be an eye opener for any of the teams who was part of the league. Like they have to respect each other's like
Mhm.
game, and let's be more sportive. And because we are all just playing like it's not like this is our kind of like a daily job, right? So we are just enjoying the game over the weekend, and where our families are allowing it, like
Mhm.
we can come out of the field and we just like showcase the just like the game that we have, and we have to respect that and just not take it like in a way where we have to spend so much time in the weekdays too, where we are currently what I'm seeing is it's going in a different level. I think the sportive spirit is something we need to kind of maintain in this league, and please see if you can kind of like do that, because I think it's best for the league and best for the entirety of the DCL and everybody who are playing in this league.
Yep.
And
All
thanks again,
right.
Vichu and Parthiv.
All right.
Yep.
You're welcome, Gopu, and thank you for joining the show. I think we
Yeah,
still have the predictions to cover, Parthiv, so that we can bring the show to a close. I think we are uh, closing on the 3 hour mark.
Correct.
I'm so
Yes.
sorry
I think.
again, Vichu and Parthiv,
No, no, I
but
think.
thanks for the
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah.
No,
Absolutely.
but
Thank you for inviting.
anyway, we wanted to cover this as extensively as possible, so we did our best.
All right,
Anyway, nice
thank
seeing
you
you,
both.
Gopu, and good night and good luck.
All right,
Yes.
thank you both. All right, bye.
Hope
All
for
right.
the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Let's look at the predictions really fast. I think if
Is our
Satya is
friend
still around,
Satya might have gone to sleep.
what is sleep?
No, no, I'm
Because-
No,
there.
he's there.
oh, you're there. Okay, okay. I thought we put you to sleep. All right.
No, I heard.
All right. What
Oh,
are some?
Lord. Wow.
It's all
100% for
one-sided.
Titans? My
Either
goodness.
people have not voted enough. How many people have voted?
It's
Oh,
only
only
five.
5 people. Oh, it's only
Ah,
us 5.
okay.
Okay.
So
All
that's
right.
why a lot
Five,
of these.
six. I think this count is not right. Wait,
Hmm.
let me refresh. Yeah, 10. Sorry.
10 people voted. And still Titans
Okay.
have a 10-0. This thing, Pokeries have 10-0.
Yes.
Stars
Very,
have
very.
10-0. Wow.
KRCC 10.
KRCC 10-0. All right. Glad's Legends is at least passable. So it's at least a competitive game.
I
Good.
know one person.
Raptors
No, no,
Fighters is good.
no. Two out of 10, right? 80,
Yeah,
20,
two.
right?
In that two, I know one. Okay.
Oh, you know, one out of the 10. Okay, all right, got it.
Okay. Bulls 100.
Bulls.
Fighters Raptors is like Raptors is leading than Fighters. So
Wow, I think that is
Okay.
surprising.
yeah, GLCC
Yeah.
100, Bar Cricket Club, Spartans, Troy Hawks, Draw Causes, Motor City,
Modus. Okay.
Agni Vikings 1, and Kadambas Marvels is 6-4 right now. And
Hmm.
Phantoms leading Master Blasters, and Punjab Scorpions leading Avengers, and Canton Hurricane, SLCC Guardian. I think there is one more game. Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
unable
that
to.
Elite Leos or something like that you had, right?
Yes, there was an Elite Leo game. So, yeah, I
Okay.
think I have only 18, 17 because that was regular season. The 18 was not even in that. It's just last 2 weeks there is 18. So,
Okay.
and let me share ours. Give me a minute.
Everybody
Okay.
has voted this time?
Yes, everybody has
Okay,
voted.
good. Okay.
Yep.
So we can
KK.
reveal it publicly.
Yes. So, yes, this one. Okay. So it's Gaba, Viju, Satya, Parthivan, Chetan. So everybody is Titans, Pokri, Stars, KRCC. Legends is Gaba. So
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Bulls, Raptors, One Fighters is Parthiv. So
Yeah, I'm surprised I'm the only one for fighters, considering they are all thinking their number one spot.
Fighters are not getting enough respect, Partha. That's not good. I thought I was going to steal a point or something like that. So obviously there are other people also looking and seeing where they can steal a point.
Well, wow. Okay.
GLCC, Bharat, Spartan, Triox, Dark Horses, Agni, only in Kadambas,
Dark
Marvel.
Horse has got 100% of the vote. FCC Agni, I understand. Kadambas, there's
So
only two
it's
people with
Viju and
Marvels
Chetan in Marvels.
on Marvels. Okay.
Yeah, that is going to be a tough game. I think there's
I
Marvels
feel,
and
I think Marvels have been playing good cricket, is what I felt. But I have
yeah.
a feeling our friends KK and Satya are going with buddy business with Tejas, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Phantoms, Punjab Scorpions, Avengers have two. It's me and Chetan. Remaining are all
Oh,
in Punjab
is
Scorpions.
that
So
also a buddy business, Satya?
it could
Um,
be.
okay.
Gautam is there still. So
Scorpions
Yeah,
have
yeah, I
been
know. Yeah. Huh?
Punjab Scorpions have been hot with that Manjinder guy
Yeah,
hammering.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
yeah, and
but he has a
Guardians,
lot
Canton Hurricanes. I think Parthiv and Viju in Guardian. That is buddy business. So
well, Guardians, I think they are a good team. I don't know why they have been losing so much.
they will lose in one run only, right? So that's okay. I go for Canton Hurricanes.
Yeah, both are
Yeah.
like eighth and ninth, I think, one after the other. So it's
And
anybody's
nobody
game.
giving Leos any chance. Everybody on
No,
Gujarat Warriors. All
Gujarat
right.
Warriors. Yeah.
The
Okay.
hammering they got from
Yeah.
Manjinder. Hmm.
So yeah,
All right.
that's that.
Sounds good.
So
All right. So I think
Uh,
fairly one-sided games this weekend. A lot of one-sided games. So hopefully, I
yeah.
think the Raptors Fighters is what I'm expecting to be a good game. But
yeah,
I think as I
Raptors Fighters, that'll be a good game.
Yeah, Raptors, even
Because
everything is going to be good game.
Raptors, if they can win that game, they probably go into the top two, right?
yeah,
So let me share the points table too, so we can have 5 minutes on that. So see, we have like Titans, Hawks is important game, and
Oh,
even Dynamite.
that's a super critical
oh,
And
game.
of course,
and
yes.
here also Thunderbolts and Stars is an important game. They are struggling for the position. Whoever wins gets in. And yeah, Raptors trying like these are all 1 pointers here. All
Yeah,
are
yeah.
need to be
Mm,
38,
yeah.
37, 37, 29. So almost here also 36, 35, 32. So
But the Raptors' problem is even if they win, if KRCC wins, KRCC will go through to
yes,
the top two.
yes,
So
Yeah.
that's the
yes. But
problem
we
for
don't know
Raptors.
what KRCC comes in, so we don't know. So
Mm,
Yeah.
depends. And yeah, Legends, Glads, they're even Legends win, they can't go first, so it's going to be Glads. And but still, it's a good game again. So yeah.
mm.
Yeah, I mean, I think Legends, if they
So
can win, they can stay in the top two.
yeah,
Otherwise,
for sure, local
other
boys and strikers is out.
Yeah.
FCC
is
still have a chance with other options.
Satya, is GLCC sending you loads of sweets?
Fine.
I mean, for you to beat Legends. I mean, they probably want you to beat Legends, right?
I'm beating Legends.
No. I'm sure that's what. So in advance, sending
Yeah.
you a packet of sweets or something like that to sweeten the pot.
KK didn't give me anything.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, but
Yeah, so I
yeah.
think
Mm.
next week, I think we'll
Like,
know a lot of all the playoff options as well as the relegation options
yeah,
will be confirmed
because we
as
don't
well.
know, might be the first could be there, but we don't know second, third, fourth also, like who will be there. So it
Correct,
depends on the games because we cannot go who will be in which side in the playoffs. It's going to be tough. So
correct. Yep.
for sure, Glads will be on side, Fighters will be on side. That's it.
Okay. I
So,
think we should probably, before we hit the playoffs, do a playoff special, uh, and
mm,
do some, you know, some analysis on one-on-one match on
well,
who's
this weekend we'll know exactly where everybody stands, right? So maybe next
correct.
week we probably can cover the
yeah.
games very little and then talk more about playoffs. Everybody
Correct.
who
Yep.
didn't make the playoffs, we don't even cover their game. Let's put it that
Correct.
way.
Yep. I think that's fair. Okay.
All
Yeah.
All
right.
right.
All right.
Sounds
Sounds
good,
good, guys.
guys. All
All
right.
right.
Thank you, guys. Good.
All right.
Good